And we are live.
I just wish the color.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Evening, everyone. I'm totally not still pulling up all my preparations.
I mean, we can forgive you considering you're technically falling apart from earlier today.
Yep, it's all Rodman's fault. He's killing me.
Slowly.
Rather quickly, actually.
This is how
Actually, it was
DMs.
very fast.
It,
Yeah, this
it
is
took
how-
about 12 seconds.
This is how DMs do PvP. If we just kill each other's characters.
Oh shit! I don't even have roll 20 open. God damn it.
Oh man.
What happens when
Way to fail.
we have 2 D&D games in a single day? Half of us are just out of it.
I don't feel bad. I was working on a season 3 character. I had roll 20 open, but I was in the wrong campaign.
Really? We're getting closer?
That's okay. I was working.
Well, now I'm
on.
just gonna have to start over.
I played a couple games of Apex, and then I started working on campaign 3. And then I didn't want to stop because I was on a roll, and I'm like, damn, I gotta stop.
I cannot wait for campaign 3. I am so happy with my character and the yeet stick you gave her.
The yeet stick.
I cannot wait.
I don't know if you could call it a yeet stick. It's got a minimal range.
Hey, it's enough.
It's
true.
further than you can throw a person, so therefore...
Anything is a yeet stick if your strength is high enough.
Not to mention, you could probably get it like potentially enchanted and have it go a little further too.
Yeah,
I mean,
to extend the range.
You think I'm not going to be looking into that?
If your grapple check is strong enough, you can literally turn a goblin into a shot put.
I feel offended
Don't we have a goblin?
for that.
Hey! Back off the goblin.
Is it time for...
You'll have a very pissed off another character if you yeet the goblin.
Is it time for Raven to pass the projectile character baton over to Zorro?
No,
No.
that's
No,
look,
no.
look, Raven can make a half giant, and he would still be the projectile character.
I was gonna say,
No.
don't break tradition.
If I did, trust me, Goliath was on the table, and I'm like, at that point, we just need a back-mounted people pult for the goblin.
Oh God, yes.
I think in order to
My character's
keep
gonna
the
backhand all of you.
tradition alive, in one of the season 2 one-shots that we do, we have to put Callistra in the people pult.
Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
I'd like an athletics check.
I'm totally down.
I got spells, don't worry.
Yeah. We got you.
We got spells to get you in there.
So actually, speaking of characters being tossed around, we have this campaign to get to.
We can totally delay a little longer, right?
No, you've got a lot of stuff to get through, including some travel rolls. And if I know anything about the way that you guys roll travel rolls, it's just going to be battles all day.
Yeah, battles.
Well, just don't make me roll.
Don't make you roll. Don't make Raven roll.
No,
Yeah.
don't
Don't
let
make
me
Shadow
roll.
Fox roll half the time.
Yeah,
The other half the
I
time,
just-
don't make me roll.
I
Just-
just rolled percentiles. You don't want to know.
Just let me
It's
roll.
not good.
Yeah.
Or, new rule, DM rolls the travel rolls all the time. Oh, look, it's a 1.
Oh, it's a Tarask.
Hey, you know what
Kind
the
of
worst
like
part of
my
Trask-
deception. I'm like, look, I rolled a 3, so my totals is 0.
Yeah, that was rough.
That was
That's real
it's
rough.
rough. I mean, the roll itself was already rough, but it's worse when I literally have a -3 on
Yep.
any charisma check.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
But you guys didn't start this campaign in the dire situation that you're currently in.
True.
In fact, last session, we joined everyone as they were all gathered in the now familiar Cannondella Tavern. They had been gathered by the Archfey Alcius, who briefly introduced their new traveling companions, a little kobold named Shu, and a summer eladrin named Saria. I said that right?
Saria, yeah.
Saria, okay. There was no opportunity for the group to chat with these new companions, however. They were all quickly whisked upstairs by Arcanist Venethan. And after using a magical key to open up a door, she ushered you inside of her room. Those of you that had been here before noticed the room was quite unkempt compared to last time. And after proper introductions were made, she revealed that she had been hard at work on something for each of you. And that something took the form of Arcane Augments, a type of magical enchanting that she has been working diligently to secretly develop, hinting at her desire to use these augments to push magic beyond its current limitations. After a surprisingly successful session of augmenting you and your gear, bit of conversation, you all met briefly with Shayna, the adoptive mother and leader of House Winterclaw. From here, you were just a quick teleport away from your frigid destination, though the teleport brought you some miles away from your target, and it was not without incident. Upon arrival, Durden experienced a curious vision, looking through the eyes of a body that wasn't his, a body he later identified as Eugene Wolfeden. He watched as several men loaded crates onto a cart, discussing amongst themselves as they did. The vision took its toll on his constitution, leaving him gasping and retching in the cold snow, a state he was assisted out of during a surprisingly warm moment between him and Kage, which both of you get a point of inspiration for, by the way.
What?
And as Arcanist Venethan began to cast her warding magics on the group, you were beset upon by some familiar and unfamiliar foes. We left off with one such foe tearing Forge's right arm from its socket, and Shu was up next in the initiative order. So Shu,
right.
what are you doing?
Okay, so I am going to
You have haste also.
thank you for the reminder.
Yes, those of you that are marked with a Shu are hasted at the moment, and Forge is still currently grappled by this huge creature.
Why are you marking people with my face? Just kidding. Read myself killed. I'm gonna go ahead and take my be 2 attacks from a regular attack. I get the extra attack, which is 1 additional attack from haste. So we'll start with the first one of those.
Also, remember your AC is +2.
Thank you.
And you're attacking the big guy, right?
I'm attacking the
And
big guy in
advantage-
front of me. I have
advantage
pack
on dex
tactics.
saves.
At advantage, so that is it's 9. So 19 to hit.
A 19 will hit.
Okay, and I'm gonna drop a key point to try and do a stunning strike. So
Okay.
I'm gonna need a con save.
Love them sweet, sweet key points. I miss playing a monk.
What? I didn't make this guy immune to stun? Write his character sheet. That is a 22.
That's 6. 13 radiant damage though.
Okay.
We're going to punch him again.
And as you... Oh, actually, no, never mind. I was thinking of a different character sheet. 13 radiant damage.
That's 9. So that's a dirty 20 to hit.
That'll hit.
Let's go ahead and aim for another bad roll and try a stunning strike again.
Okay.
Just need him to roll bad enough. That's right.
It's true. I am no longer using those dice I was using last time, though. I had to put my DM dice in jail.
Fair enough.
This time he rolled a 19.
Still saves. But that's going to be another 13 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
So 24 to hit.
That'll hit.
Not first. Try to study this one. Low damage roll though, so that's 7 radiant damage.
7 radiant damage.
I will spend 1 more key point to do I think I'm going to Flurry of Blows.
Okay. Flurry away. Do
On the
your
right,
dope
that's
monk
2
shit.
more. 2 unarmored strikes. Yeah, so 2 more attacks. 20 something to hit. 26.
That hits. That most certainly hits.
Ooh, and that is 14 radiant.
14 radiant. All right.
And that one probably doesn't hit at 13.
A 13 will not.
So that will end my turn.
Good damage on that turn. I expect nothing less from a monk.
Yeah.
And that will bring us over to Forge. Forge, you are still grappled. You can use an action to try to escape from the grapple, or you can not. And your right arm is currently dislocated, which means you have disadvantage on anything that uses that arm.
Well, since that arm is dislocated, it's not really going to do much of a swing here. So what he's going to do... Okay, so haste gives you an extra action, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
It isn't... Well, haste... Yeah, it gives you an action that you can use to make a single attack, dash, disengage, hide, or use an object.
Okay, so I'm going to... Forge is going to reach into his bag and he's going to pull out a small flat coin that he rubs a couple times, and he's going to use his spell storing item to cast enlarge reduce on himself.
Okay.
So he's going to enlarge himself to a large size.
A large forge.
A large forge.
So you're packing 10 enlarges? Nice.
And then since I haven't casted a spell,
Yeah, actually, this guy's going to make a strength save, see if he can hold on to you as you're growing. Yeah, he's still got a grip on you.
okay. So since he has an action, or since he has haste, he's going to use this action to try to escape.
Okay. That will be an opposed roll. You can use your athletics or acrobatics versus his athletics.
They're both trash.
Well, he rolled really poorly. The number to beat is 17.
That is going to be 14.
Oh, so close.
Yep, because
so very close.
Because I don't think I could use Flash of Genius if I know the roll here. It just says when I'll let you call that.
Is it something that you can drop in chat that I could have a read? Flash of Genius. You can use it after the roll.
Okay.
Since it doesn't specify.
So I will go ahead and use Flash of Genius and turn that 14 to a 19.
Okay. And with that 19 and that increased size, you do manage to wriggle free from this thing's grasp.
All right.
That marker off of you. There you go.
And then I'm going to use my bonus action to instruct 99 to make a force and power rend attack.
Okay.
Jesus, come on, dog. 10.
10 does not.
My
do it,
dice
I'm
hate me
afraid.
today. Where'd my metal one go? There it is. All right. And that is all he can do.
All right. That brings us over to the corrupted shadows. This guy over here, right by. Actually, you know what? We're going to make a roll. Yeah, okay. He's dumb, but he's not so dumb that he's gonna keep trying to attack the cat that he keeps nat wanting on.
No, keep attacking the cat.
Keep attacking the cat. You can't hit.
Instead, he's going to turn his attention to Saria and make a couple attacks. Start with a claw attack. Don't think a 13 is going to hit you, though.
Nope.
Put up with another claw attack. I believe a 28 will hit you, though. Good on one die, bad on the other. That will be 13 slashing damage.
Okay.
Then he will go in for a bite on you. And he's getting a nat 20.
She's gonna go ahead and she's going to spin the rod around and cause almost like a little mini puff of air from it with some leaves. And she's gonna cast nope, that's the wrong card. Avoid grievous injury. And it turns into a regular roll.
It's a good spell to have.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Always had that one prepared on Keo.
Yep. That's why I was like, where's my reaction cards? Hold up.
Yep. So it will hit, but it is just a regular roll.
Regular roll.
That will be... Oh, that is still really good damage, though.
Yep. Well, it's not crit damage, so it makes it a little better.
That does make it a bit better, because I rolled 1 away from max damage.
Uh-huh.
So that is going to be 24 piercing damage.
Diablo.
What level is that? A level 1 spell. Jesus Christ.
He will stay right where he is.
I'm sorry, what was the damage again?
It was 24 piercing.
24 piercing. Thank you.
This one down here, right in front of Kage, who is almost dead.
Wants to shake hands and make friends?
I'm afraid he doesn't. I'm afraid instead he's going to use his Corrupted Rage ability, because he is so low on HP, it activates, which gives him advantage on all attacks as long as he remains below a certain HP threshold. So he's going to make an advantage claw attack against you, Kage, which is going to be 28 to hit.
Yeah, I think that does it.
That will be 16 slashing damage.
Hellish Rebuke.
Okay. That's a dex save, right?
Yes.
He's going to roll a 17.
That meets it, but he still takes half. Half of 15, 7.
7, okay. 7, since he doesn't have any resistances. He's so close to death, but he is still up.
I wish he hadn't made that save.
Good thing he has advantage, otherwise that would have been a nat 1. It is instead a 24 to hit.
Yes, that hits.
Really bad damage on that. That is 8 slashing damage.
Wait, hold on. My AC is 15. Hold on. I mean, I'm sure it still hits, but I have a reaction depending on what my AC actually is. Because right now, it's saying it's 15, which is just my dex modifier plus base AC, which is not right. I should have armor on.
You probably should have armor on, yes.
Like, you have
So
a lot
what
of
was
AC.
it to hit?
It was a 24 to hit.
Okay. Even if I use shield, it would still hit. So
Yes,
okay.
and you did use your reaction for Hellish Rebuke, so
Oh, that's right. My apologies.
no worries. You only use this character once a year, so I don't blame you.
Yeah, I wish that would be
Moving
fixed.
on.
You kind of walked into that and set it up. I'm
I
just saying.
did a little
You
bit.
set it up.
So to take attention away from myself,
Right.
He's going to do one final attack.
Fox. I was looking at my D&D Beyond sheet, which didn't include the +1 spell save increased modifier. I'll let you call it but my spell save DC should have been 18.
That's right, it should have been. Yeah. So he will not make that attack. And that 24 to hit won't hit because he's dead.
Yay!
And you watch as this creature just kind of melts into a black ooze on the ground in front of you. Give me a history check.
Oh, sure. Does it? Hold on. If it has anything to do with Fey Fiends or Undead, I should have advantage. So does it?
It does not.
Okay.
I forgot to make a concentration check, but I got a 16 on the die.
Okay.
Oh,
17.
I got hit twice.
17. You recall, because that beats the DC. You recall last time you fought these creatures specifically, these kind of bipedal ones, that when you knocked them out and they melted, if damage wasn't done to them within a certain amount of time, they began to reform.
Okay. Do I remember how much time that was?
Yeah, with a 17, because it was really only like 7 weeks ago. So with a 17, you remember within like a dozen seconds or so, 2 rounds you have to do
Okay.
additional damage to the puddle. And if no damage is done to them, then they will reform. So that one is down, but we do have one left. And he is going to do an Ooze Toss. He's going to toss some ooze. Right. Oh, how many people can I get in this? No, we're going to chance it and
You're gonna miss everyone.
hit the big guy as well. So we can get 4 of you. So let's see what this Ooze Toss does. The Ooze Toss does exactly what the other Ooze Toss did and splashes onto the ground and then forms up into a mist cloud that has electricity pulsing through it. And actually, this other Ooze Toss down on top of Kage should activate this round. So I need Kage and Antia and that other creature to all make dexterity saving throws for me. Creature saves. Antia has disadvantage and does not save.
Nat 20 for 29.
That will save, so you will take half damage. So you will take half of 13 lightning damage. This creature also takes half. Antia takes all of it. She has to make a concentration check. Yes.
What was the number again?
It was half of 13, so 6.
6.
And then that cloud dissipates. And that is the end of those guys, so we move on to Durden.
Alrighty. I'm gonna do some more sorcerer bullshit.
As one does.
So I'm gonna spend an action to convert a warlock spell slot. 2. And where's my font of magic? Yeah. So that gives me 5 sorcery points. So let's put those back. And I am immediately going to spend 2 of those points to do a quickened spell, and a 3rd point to do an empowered version of the spell. And I'm going to bonus action empowered fireball.
Nice. All right. Where is that going?
Well, you removed my X, so now I have to find it again. So it should be here. It's him. Gets that guy, so it gets all 4 of these dudes.
Okay.
Centered on that spot.
That is a dexterity saving throw. Yes. Yes.
Correct. And my spell DC currently is 17.
Okay. So starting with the big guy.
Oh wow, that's a really good fucking roll.
Big guy got a 17. Well, this guy here, sort of big guy. But I don't think it's going to help him either way because he's pretty low. Biggest guy got a 14, so he fails. Other big guy got a 22. Shadow guy
I'm gonna keep
also hit 17.
Alright, so I'm only gonna re-roll 2 dice because the rest of the dice are really fucking good. 3 6s, 2 5s, and a 4.
Ooh.
Okay, a little bit better. That one still got a 3, so let's see. So that is 10, 20, 30, 9, plus I get to add 5 to one of the dies, so 39 plus 5 is 44. So 44 fire, 44 fire damage, save for half.
Damn, okay. So this guy...
Radiant Soul, bitches!
Yeah, this guy just has a hair of HP left. Because you got to add that +5, that brought you just high enough to knock out the biggest guy.
Yeah!
This guy down here saved.
Thank
He's looking
you.
pretty hurt. And this guy saved. He's looking kind of okay. So you came very, very close to knocking 2 of them out, but at the very least, you did knock out the literal biggest threat.
Yeah, the grapple master. Fuck that
Yep.
guy.
I would call that a very good turn.
Forge's arm thanks you.
Forge's arm thanks you.
A very, very scared cat would like to thank you too.
Yeah, I'm presuming the empowered fireball looks extra gnarly.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and describe it for us? It's your fireball.
So because of Durden's nature still unknown to him, basically his empowered fireball, like a dragon head appears and opens its mouth to like blow a breath weapon, but instead of breath coming out, the dragon head literally detonates, and everything in that radius just like golden fire just rains down on them.
Very, very nice. All right, so is there any movement on your turn?
Nothing's coming to like harm my person, so I'm staying where I am.
Yeah, your other companions have kind of formed a barricade between you and them. That will bring us over to the little slime guys. We will start with, oh my god, that one up there is still stuck and paralyzed. Okay, let's see if he can make his save.
Yeah, I need to. He starts off with damage too. Let me pull that up.
Poor
Oh,
guy.
no, that was a
He's
level.
so far away from the action.
He deserves it.
He deserves it.
But those ones have the coolest abilities.
That's why he deserves
I
it.
mean,
No.
let him move and do something. I'm more than willing to accommodate him.
2d8. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, okay. That is 10 damage.
Damage, okay. That guy's
And he
not
needs
in
to make
good
another strength or dexterity saving throw.
strength or dexterity. He's going to go with dexterity, and that bounced right out of the tree. I don't know if that makes it. Does a 17 make it?
Meets it.
Oh, it's free. He's finally free.
But now
So
he
far.
has half movement.
Yeah,
Still has that.
it does. And I think he's too dumb
I think
to
he's
step
moved.
out of it and go around. So I think he's just going to make a beeline. He's going to have to dash, which gives him 60. So 10, 50, 60 gets him to there.
And as Saria sees him being freed and moving, if I remember correctly, because new spellcaster who dis, I can drop concentration anytime, right?
Yes. Yep. It's
Okay.
a free action to just drop concentration.
So seeing as my last victim is pretty much almost out and free, she's like, all right, and she's gonna drop concentration on that.
Okay. Get that circle out of there.
But it did its use, and that's all I wanted.
It sure did. All the people that were momentarily paralyzed by it, I think they all ended up bloodied before they got out of there.
Yeah, a couple of them did at least. The other ones did at least some damage before they came out. So it did its job. I'm happy with it.
So the other one over by Perseus and Saria, I think, is going to stay put and try and attack Perseus with a whip attack. Does a 21 hit?
21 does hit. Yeah.
I should
21
rephrase.
does hit.
Are you going to let a 21 hit?
I'm going to let the 21 hit.
Okay. So that is going to be 7 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And because he successfully struck you with a whip attack, he is going to attempt to use his consume ability. And I need you to make a dexterity saving throw for me.
You're hastened. You have advantage on that. Well, yes, you have advantage on that.
So that is a 21.
21, that succeeds, and you are able to fend him off as he tries to wrap himself around you. Does have one more whip attack though, so he will strike at you again with a 22 to hit.
Flash, 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 flash.
Don't
I'm
slash him. That's just
debating.
rude.
I'm debating. Yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna spend some prowess and deal with this problem before it gets out of hand.
Fair. Although I'm really, really sad that one of these guys is stuck on attacking you, because you're like the worst target for these guys to try and hit.
Amazingly, that actually, nope, that's only a 19.
So he hits.
Yep.
Okay.
Damn.
God. 1 away from minimum damage. You're going to take 6 bludgeoning damage from him, and I need another dexterity saving throw.
25.
Oh yeah, you're fine. Easily able to fend him off once more. Go over to the final one of these guys who is right up on Kage, so he's going to make some whip attacks against you, sir.
He wants to make friends?
He really, really does want to make friends. Permanently.
Oh, in the bad way.
Yeah. I don't think a 16 is going to hit you, though. What about a 20? Does that hit you?
I don't have my reaction yet, so yes.
Okay. He's going to do 10 bludgeoning damage against you, and I need a dexterity saving throw.
$28.
28, you are fine. Just like Perseus, you have no trouble whatsoever fending him off as he tries to consume you. And that brings us right over to you, Kage.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do my go-to cantrip, the special flavored lightning door. Let's see here. So it does plus 9. Does a 19 hit him?
I muted myself. That's the one that's right next to you?
Yes.
Yes, it hits.
Do you need fire and lightning separated out?
Nope.
Okay, so not great on the damage, but 5 total on that.
Okay.
He needs to make a strength save DC. Oh no, he doesn't. He's already right next to me, so
He sure
he gets another
is.
D8 lightning. Wow, not rolling super great. It's midline's all right. 4.
4. Every little bit helps.
It certainly does. And then I'm going to do bonus action attack with my rapier. Okay. Let's see here. Does a 25 hits.
Yes.
And I still have my right going, so before. Uh, 27 points of damage altogether.
27 points of damage. Damn. That guy's not having a good day. However, your rapier does briefly get stuck in him, and I need you to make a strength save.
Oofta. Okay. Oh. Roll a 15 on a die for, you said save?
Yep.
Okay. 20. Dirty 20.
You're good. DC is real low on that, but
Oh, okay.
if anyone ever does fail it, then they lose their weapon. So,
That's not cool.
but you're good. You're good. All right. Anything else on your turn?
Don't particularly want to move. I'm gonna have my familiar just start flying around, like a little bit further away from those things. He was up really high, so
Yeah, that's why they haven't really paid him any attention. He's kind of out of their range right now.
so yeah,
Right.
that's it.
So that brings us over to you, Saria.
Okay, so dropped concentration. I've got these two guys in front of me. What she's planning on doing is make sure I've got the right one up. Which one looks pretty bad right now?
This one right here definitely looks to be the worst. He's got like inky black tendrils separating from his body and landing onto the ground and kind of melting in a pool.
What a
Okay.
world! What a world!
Also, how is everyone else looking as far as my teammates? Like, who's looking pretty rough right now?
You and Forge, I think, look the worst.
Forge is okay.
Not looking great, but
Yeah, I think, Saria, you're probably the worst amongst your teammates at the moment.
Okay, that's cool. That's fine.
I mean, Forge's arm is like dangling to the one side.
I mean, there is that, but he's also really big, so.
Yeah. How big is this? This is. Holy crap! Really? Lame. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna do what I originally was gonna do then. I'll go ahead and I'll just start attacking this guy right now because I really don't want to take an opportunity of attack.
Okay.
So yeah, I should do attack. Oh, that's pretty good. 25.
That certainly hits.
Okay, and it's a it's not a d6 because I've got shalala. Shalala. That's 8. But it's also a flaming sword. God, I did not have it out last. Wow.
The flame tongue does an extra 2d6 fire damage.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna pull that. Thank you. Okay, so that's 8 slashing.
Okay.
And 6 fire. And I would like to have it do a strength saving throw.
Okay.
As I attempt to paralyze it.
Ooh. Don't know what you're using, but I don't like it. It rolled a dirty 20.
Okay. Well, I don't think anything happens to it. Turning to repeat the same thing. Nope. That's it. That's it. It's just part of my rod ability.
Yes, that's right.
It's yeah. So that's it. Nothing else happens.
Nothing
so
else?
I have an extra attack.
You do have an extra attack.
Battle Druid.
I think you forgot to do your extra attack last time.
I did, and I kicked myself over it too, because I'm not used to spellcasting battle extra. Oh, that's one more than what I said last time. So 26 to hit.
Yes.
Go down, buddy. Oh, almost max damage. So 11 slashing.
Okay.
Piercing, slashing, whatever. Slashing. And then that is going to be 10 fire damage.
Very nice damage. He is definitely bloodied now.
Okay. I think. Yep, that's it. Because I'm the only one that's looking. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. I got this.
Okay. Brings us over to the corrupted servants. This one up here is going to go first. And he is going to let out a piercing wail that just echoes for longer than it perhaps should throughout the area. And those of you from Sonata II that have fought these guys before, this like immediately triggers an auditory memory in you, and you remember one of these doing this before as a way to summon some buddies. But you also remember that if you manage to kill this guy before his next turn, essentially, that the summoning will fail. once he does that, he is going to attempt to maybe, hopefully, finally hit the cat.
Nope.
That was this guy right here, right? That did that.
Yeah,
Okay.
the big guy here.
Not that my character would know that, but for the player.
Can Dirting yell out as a free action, like, kill that guy?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's like, kill him! Like, I can't really, like express sentiment. Just, just like,
Yeah.
kill him!
Yeah.
Kill him! Like, he's very adamant about that one dying.
Yeah, I mean, he does a thing, and then you immediately say to kill the guy that just did the thing. I feel like it gets the idea across. But we'll take that attack on Perseus, and that is going to be a 17 to hit.
Nope.
Okay. You'll make a second attack against Perseus, which is even less. That's a 12 to hit, and he can't make his third because he used his whale to do that third action. So a bit of a disappointing turn for that guy. But that does bring us to the other one, who is right next to the giant forge. And he is going to make 3 attacks. Yeah, he's going to make 3 attacks against Forge. First one is a 26 to hit.
That will hit, but I'm going to use a reaction when he hits me.
Okay.
So when I get hit by this, I'm going to use my exhaust jets. So I need just that one to give me a dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw, okay. And do you still take the damage from this?
I still take the damage, yeah.
Okay. So that will be 18 bludgeoning damage.
18 bludgeoning. Gotcha.
His dexterity save. Oh, it's probably not going to make it. That's an 8.
Yep, so he is going to take 3d6 fire damage.
Ooh.
That's going to be 9 fire.
9 fire, okay.
Push back 10 feet.
Okay.
And blinded until the end of their next turn.
Blinded until the end of their next turn. Okay. Let's find a good blind marker here. Go. Now this is a bit of a pickle. He has blind sight, but he only has blind sight out to 10 feet. So he can't see anyone at the moment. So I'm going to roll a d4 and see which direction he goes in, with up being 1, then clockwise around. He is going to go over here until he encounters his friend.
That's
and
not good
sees-
for me.
Yeah, he sees Kage there, but I think that's going to be the end of his turn. Yeah. So got him away from Forge, which is nice. Not great for Kage. And that brings us over to Perseus.
Start my turn by calling out Shu. I could use a hand. And I am going to attack the only thing that I have the ability to sneak attack, which is this one.
That's fair.
Rogue life.
Yep.
Does a 17 hit?
It sure does.
Neat.
Just barely.
I also should note, I have basically dropped the short sword and grabbed the rapier again because
Gotcha.
decided that did not work. Was not worth it.
Yeah, not against these guys.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. 36 piercing.
36
Damn.
piercing. Ouch. This guy's looking rough.
And I get another attack from my haste, right?
Yes.
Now I cannot sneak attack that one.
Nope.
sadly. So in that case, I'm actually going to take my second attack and stab the large one that was howling.
Okay, this guy here.
Not great. 15 to hit.
15 will not do it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Okay. And you know what? I am actually going to step there.
Okay.
Now the fun thing is there will be no attack of opportunity because of
Rogue bullshit.
Mobile.
Rogue Bullshit 101.
Or that.
Either
Mobile.
rogue bullshit. Yeah, I was gonna say rogue bullshit or mobile bullshit.
Both.
Mobile rogue bullshit. Gotcha.
Like the part about if you hit or not, it still counts.
Yep. So he sees you go to move, but then it triggers in his very, very, very small mind that, wait, I tried to hit that cat before and I just hit my friends, so I'm not going to do an opportunity attack.
Maybe he could just hit his friends instead. It would work better.
Might. All right. So that brings us to a dead guy, which brings us then to Shu.
So Shu's going to, her target's dead. It's going to zippy zip all the way around so she ends up over here. So she's in melee with all these people.
Yep.
See, now it was called out. She's going to attack the big one.
Okay.
Let's do the first two attacks. 16?
Ooh, actually, before I say whether or not that hits, since you did move into his range, I need a dexterity.
You have advantage.
Natural 20 for a total of 30.
Oh yeah, you're good. And that was a what, 16 to hit?
Yes.
That will not hit.
That's fine. Again. How about a dirty 20?
A dirty 20 will hit.
Minimum damage though for 7 radiant damage.
7 radiant. That is enough to turn him into a puddle. He only had 3 HP left.
Alright, and we're just gonna turn our attention to this one.
Okay.
With our extra attack from haste. For a natural 20.
That'll hit.
So we're doing roll twice.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm also going to pump the extra damage from the hand wraps in.
Always a good choice.
One more set. 33 points of radiant damage.
Ooh, 33 points. That guy is also looking real rough right now.
In that case, let's flurry of blows.
Hurry away.
Love the monks.
Yep. 27
27 will hit.
for 13 radiant.
Okay. 13 radiant.
Still up.
He is, but not by much.
And how's this one right here looking?
Also really rough.
Okay. I'll just keep attacking the one I'm at then.
Okay.
24
That'll hit.
for max damage of 14 radiant damage.
That'll do it. Good
I
turn,
got you,
taking
kitty.
out 2 of them. Oh man, that one doesn't have any fun things when he dies. He just dies.
And that will be the end of my turn.
Okay. That brings us to you, Forge.
Now, what was the deal with the goo?
So the bipedal ones, which
The werewolf ones?
Yeah, this one here, this one here, this one here. When they die, they turn into a puddle, and you have 2 rounds to do more damage to them, or else they will reform. You only have to hit
Gotcha.
them once, though, and it's any amount of damage.
Gotcha. Okay. Do I have act here? Probably not. Nope, I do not. Okay. What's my speed right now? Haste increases speed, right?
Double.
Yep.
Doubles. Okay. Trying to think of how I can aim this. Can you give me a 30-foot cone?
30-foot cone. I could if I had one. Do I have one? I have too many assets.
That is a blatant lie.
You know what? We're gonna use this one. Didn't want it to be this fancy, but it worked. Let's see.
Yeah. And
I assume you're trying to get it so that it
Yeah.
hits the baddies and not you're free. You'd be able to aim it so it hits them and not Kage.
okay.
This one's a little bit awkward, but
So he's
it's
gonna
doable.
pull a stone out from his bag of rocks. Gonna throw the one in front of him. It's gonna go for about a foot, and it's gonna vanish, and then it's gonna erupt into a rain of stones as he uses Conjure Barrage.
Ooh, nice.
So they need to make a Dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw. Okay, we will start with the host that is right by Kage.
Please tell me puddles don't get dex saves.
So the host, who had the best chance of saving, only rolled a 9.
That's a fail.
The servant rolled an 11. And Shadow rolled a 16.
Still fails.
Don't know if it would hit the puddle or not.
It's a rain. It pretty much it casts a shower of stones on everything.
Yeah. But it is a cone. I will set a DC and just roll a D20 for me.
10.
10. It does not hit the puddle.
Okay. Everything else. Damage. Kind of. He's gonna take 14 bludgeoning damage from this.
14 bludgeoning damage. Okay.
And it is magical.
Hey, that it's good damage because they don't have very much HP left.
And since I still have my hasted action.
Yes.
I can finish my movement because I didn't technically finish when I got down there.
Yep.
Gonna go there. And I'm gonna make an attack on the puddle.
Okay. The attack auto hits.
Okay. Just bring them all down on it.
You have
Gallagher.
done damage to him, so he will not reform.
And then 99's got a speed of 40 feet.
Just enough to get there.
Gonna get there. And he's going to make a rend attack against the dog, or against the big guy.
Okay.
Jesus. For a grand total of 8.
Ooh, just can't catch a break
I
today.
just can't catch a break with this guy. I'm like not rolling above a 10 with him.
He bites onto one of the tendrils on this guy, but the tendril just kind of sloughs off the body.
Swap out the dice.
It's multiple dice. It's not just one.
Oh, balls.
My dice
Just
just
bad
hate
luck
me.
overall.
Yeah, my dice hate me right now.
Dang.
That will bring us to the Corrupted Shadows, and at the top of their turn, any oozes on the field activate, but there's nobody in that one anymore, unfortunately. So you just see a bunch of arcs of electricity shoot through the cloud, and it dissipates. And then this one, who is surrounded by 3 people, is gonna wish he wasn't. Oh, that's the wrong character sheet. That's the right character sheet. Oh, but his HP is low enough to trigger his Corrupted Rage. He will have advantage on his attacks, and he will make them against Saria. Well, he'll make the first one against you anyway. Or 19. So that will be a 28 to hit.
It does hit.
Will be 17 slashing damage.
Okay.
He will make the second one.
Give me so as he goes ahead and he starts to oh fuck no. Hold on. Did I use my reaction this round already? No, I didn't. Didn't, because it was on the other guy before he died. Okay, so what she's gonna do is, as she sees the creature go and attack her again, she's gonna go ahead and hold out her hand, and it's gonna start to bring off this bright flash. And as the flash is finished, everyone has frozen around her, and she stands up and moves around this creature as she casts Anticipate Attack. I know when the attack is coming. I can move half my speed without provoking opportunity of attacks. The attack still happens, but automatically misses, and you are no longer within the attack range. And I cannot be targeted in my new position. So half my movement, so it's 15. I'll go ahead. I'll go over here. And as soon as I get over there, I hold up my hand again, and another flash happens, and everyone moves back to normal.
Okay, so that is a reaction that technically supposed to happen after the attack roll, but before the damage roll.
It says before the roll.
Oh, does it say before the attack roll?
It says before. It says when you are being attacked, but before the attack roll is made.
Okay, so that was triggered then on the second attack that he was about to make.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So he only has 1 attack left. He cannot target you, so he will target Perseus with his bite attack. Uh, 19 to hit you, Perseus.
Nope. Actually, the attack still happens on me. It just doesn't hit me.
Yeah, so I'm just not even gonna roll because it's gonna miss regardless of what he rolls.
Okay, yeah, because on the oncoming attack, it still occurs but misses automatically.
Yeah.
So basically he's wasting his attack on me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got 3 attacks. He made the first one, it hit you. The second one, you used the reaction, and then his third
so this
attack.
is his third attack.
He makes
Got it.
He makes the bite. Yeah.
Got it. Sorry, I thought that was the second attack.
Adds +2 to AC. And what was that roll?
It was a 19 to hit.
That misses because of the haste.
Okay. That is the end of his turn. Got one more of these guys on the battlefield. He is going to do a standing leap and land right over here behind Forge and make some attacks. The first attack, that's the wrong character sheet again, is a 13 to hit you, Forge.
Nope.
Second attack is a 27 to hit you, Forge.
That's gonna hit me, and I'm going to activate my exhaust jets.
Okay.
So
You will take 14 slashing damage from that.
I will take 14 slashing damage from that.
That was a what save? From him?
Dexterity save, but I need it for the little dude, and then the big guy on the other side.
Gotcha. Do you need one from
Both of them.
your dog and Kage as well, or
Nope.
can you?
I
just
select. I
the,
select 4 creatures within 5 feet of me.
Nice. Who gave you that ability?
You did.
I know I did. I regret it. So first guy is gonna miss or fail. Big guy is going to get a 20 on his save.
Okay.
And the other little guy.
No, the other little guy doesn't have to roll. It's only the 2 that are within 5 feet of me.
Okay, so the bipedal one fails and the big guy saves.
All right, so the one that failed is going to take 12 fire damage.
Actually, no, I have to roll the big one at disadvantage because he is blind. I believe that still succeeds. Yeah, that's 19.
Yep, that succeeds.
Okay.
So little guy is going to take 12 fire damage. It pushed back 10 feet, and he's blinded until the end of his next turn.
Okay.
Big guy up top will take 6 fire damage, but he isn't pushed or blinded.
Gotcha. No, not minus 96.
Yes, minus 96.
minus
You already
6.
typed it. Already typed it.
No, I took it back. He's looking real rough, though. All right. Yeah, that was on this guy's first attack, wasn't it? So he has 2 more, but he is blind.
His second attack, his first attack missed.
Oh, okay. He's blind. So, do these ones have blind sight? They do, but like the other guy, it's only 10 feet. So I'm going to roll that d4 again, see which direction he goes. And he goes not the way I want him to. What's his movement speed?
Didn't he move like a pretty decent amount already?
He used his
I have no
ability,
idea.
his standing leap ability,
Oh,
to get
okay.
over there. So he is going to move 40 feet in this direction.
Oh, that's not good.
It's
Don't
fine,
worry, he's blind.
And he's out of the range of his blind sight, so he has no idea you're there. And that's it for those guys. So Durden, you're up.
Well, my owl is on my shoulder, so Durden's gonna move. He was gonna stay by the tree, but he's gonna move over here. And then he is going to Syra looks like she's really hurting, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So he is going to pump some healing light into her. So Durden glows with like radiant energy, and again those scales that aren't really visible normally show. And well, let's do 5. Just so you got 2 big wampums. That's a bad roll. Why couldn't you be like the fireball? So it's 5, 10, 15. So you get 15 points of healing from radiant energy.
Sorry, that was for me.
Yep. And you still look kind of rough, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm okay.
Then he's going to burn 2 sorcery points to do a bonus action cast of Cure Wounds, and I'm going to cast that at 2nd level. So that is
Having a way.
2d8. Okay. And that's plus my modifier, so that's 12. So you get another 17 points of healing as he
Thank you.
puts his hand on your shoulder. And that is everything he can do this round.
Thank
That was
you.
a good round, though, I would say.
You know, that helped tremendously. Thank you.
He just
Bring-
nods.
Us to the little guys once more, and we are going to start with the one right by Kage, who is desperately trying to keep himself together and make a whip attack on Kage. He's getting that one. I think that nat 1 is just going to cause him to lose his second attack, though. I don't see him whipping in the complete opposite direction to hit his friend. So he, much like his friends against the cat, he overextends on the whip and can't really bring his body back together in time to make that second attack. He loses it. Another one. This is movement speed. Movement speed 30. Can you get there? 30 exactly. He will get up to Doggo and make a whip attack. That is going to be a 16 to hit.
16 will hit.
Okay. Will be 9 bludgeoning damage. And I need a dexterity save from Doggo.
19.
19 will do it. Fends him off as he tries to engulf the poor guy. Though he'd be really disappointed because he can't use the other ability on a construct like that. Make that second whip attack and miss with a 10. Swing and a miss for those guys. Kage, you're up.
Okay, gonna try something just a little bit different. Kage's gonna look over at Forge and say, "Thanks for joining this side of the party. Watch this." And he's gonna cast Booming Blade and attack that guy.
Okay.
Okay, so wait, other, not a spell attack. It's a yes. Okay, 25 to hit.
25 will hit.
Any reason to separate out thunder damage from everything else?
Nope.
Uh, 35 total damage. Wait, no, I didn't even have my modifiers. 40 damage total to that one.
40. Okay. Well, you only needed 12. He is down.
Oh man, I was really hoping to do something, and then he has to take one step towards Forge, and then
It would have been great. But
So Kage had a little sparkle in his eye, and still has a sparkle in his eye, but it's a little dimmer. Like, oh. And then I have a special request.
What's that?
I want to bonus action Misty Step 30 feet straight up and end my turn.
Okay. You can certainly do that. I mean, you'll fall 30 feet at the start of your next turn, but you can do
Yeah,
that.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm going to do it so that I'm over the top of this guy.
Okay. I will absolutely permit that. I know Misty Step, you're supposed to go from a solid place to a solid place, but where's the fun in that?
There is no fun in that.
My point exactly. Saria,
So-
you're up.
Okay, so this guy is still standing. She's gonna go ahead and she is going to cast. Oh God, where is it? Actually, no. He's looking pretty bad, isn't he?
He is looking quite bad, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, she'll run back. She gives a very thankful nod to Durden and runs over here, and she's gonna swing, baby.
Swing away.
$22.
That'll hit.
Okay. 13 slashing.
Okay.
And 6 fire.
That will do it for that guy as he melts down into a puddle.
Yeah. And then she only ran 15 feet that way. Oh no, she actually ran 10 feet. Yeah, that's as far as she can get, so
Durden's gonna yell, "Hit the puddle!"
oh.
Yeah, he
Why?
can certainly do that. You don't know why he would tell you to hit a puddle, but he did tell you to hit a puddle.
I mean, that doesn't seem fun, but alright. And I'll smack it.
Yeah.
I'll
you can-
attack it.
you can use your extra attack to hit the puddle. It's an auto hit.
Okay.
It's a puddle. It doesn't really have an AC.
To catch on
but,
fire?
Sure. It
Okay.
catches on fire like a flash burn for just a second. And when the flames die away, there is just a little bit of melted snow there.
Oh, okay. He'll like look back confused and just be like, I don't know what that did, but thanks. And yeah, that's as far as she can make it for this round. Let me see if I can do anything else. Do I want to do that though? Forge, how you looking?
Forge is at 50 HP. So under half.
Okay. She'll go ahead and cast Healing Spirit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what the size is on that.
I
Oh, it's just a
believe-
5-foot cube.
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
it's a 5 foot. Thing.
It's the Conga cube.
Yeah, so I will go ahead and have it right on Forge.
Let me see if I have a thing for that. That is not my thing.
And the
thing I don't
spirit
have
looks like
access
a will-o-wisp.
I think I do have a will-o-wisp token though.
Never mind. Never mind.
Never mind.
Nope.
Okay.
Does not work on constructs.
Ah, yeah. That's the downside.
Yeah.
I'm considered a living creature.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, Warforged are considered living creatures.
That's right. Yes, we had this discussion last Sonata, I think.
Yes. Okay, yes, I'm still doing it now. I was trying to help a buddy out, and then I was like, oh,
Okay.
it says constructs, but nope, never mind. I'm still doing it.
I am positive I have a token for this, but I can't find it.
And if
I
I
mean,
remember correctly,
it-
they
it-
look like a piece.
It won't work on Beauregard because Beauregard is considered a
Yes.
Is a
full-on
construct,
He's
yeah.
the construct. Yeah.
That's
So
why
as
he has no
the
hair.
little wisp like reaches you, it transforms into like a glowing orange wolf. And it's gonna heal you for
I
Forge
don't have a glowing wolf token.
Forge,
That's okay.
Forge
Fine.
reaches out with his hand and tries to pet the dog.
and as soon as you pet it, you are filled with warmth. If you could feel warmth.
I can't feel emotion yet.
Now, because it's a bonus action, I can't upcast it, can I, when I already attacked?
I mean, any leveled spell that you cast, regardless of whether it's an action, bonus action, or reaction, can be upcast if you have the slots available.
Yeah, okay, so I did not know that. So can I upcast it to 3rd level?
Yeah.
Okay,
Certainly
cool.
can.
So that-
Use this because nothing else is cooperating with me.
And I don't think I
Just
add
put
anything
that
to it.
over
I think
top
it's
of
just straight up. Yeah, it's just straight up 2d6. So yeah, that is 10 healing for you.
I'll take it.
And he's just gonna sit next to you, just wagging its little tail.
Okay.
And that's it. I don't spellcast often, so I'm like, this is gonna be a learning experience.
That's fair. Totally fair. So we've got one of these corrupted servants left. Does the blindness go away at the start or the end of his turn?
Let me check. I think it's the end. Exhaust jets until the end of their next turn.
The end of their next turn, okay. He does have blind sight, so he knows the 3 of you were there. He's going to sacrifice one of his attacks to, just like his friend, do a summoning wail, hoping for some help at the start of his next turn. So he's got 2 attacks, and he's going to make them both against Forge. That is going to be a 29 to hit.
I'm going to have Doggo use his deflect attack reaction in order to make it at disadvantage.
Okay. That does lower it down to a 23.
That's still gonna hit. I'm not a fan of this. So I'm a burn and exhaust jet.
Okay. So the damage will be 20 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
We'll make that dexterity saving throw at disadvantage because he's blind. And that is. Does he make it with an 18?
He meets it at an 18.
Ooh.
So he's gonna take a total 7 fire damage.
7 fire damage. Okay. Well, I mean, that still cut his remaining HP in half. Does have one more attack though, and he's gonna take it with a dirty 20 to hit.
A dirty 20 matches because I am hasted right now.
It's last hurrah here. 21 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
That is the end of his turn and likely soon the end of his life. Perseus, you're up.
Muted.
You are muted, sir.
we know all these will reconstruct if we don't do something to them, or only specific ones?
Only specific ones, the bipedal ones, and there is one of those left. He's down at the bottom of the map, and he's blind.
Okay. In that case, Perseus is going to burn his bonus action for a dash.
Ooh, a hasted dash. Hell yeah.
Oh god, haste increases my movement, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doubles your movement.
Oh, then I don't have to. Okay. Which means I can just do a little hasted run to there.
You sure can.
And with the momentum, Perseus is going to make a lunge with the rapier. Probably with a little hop included in it.
Hops up that little snowbank there.
And wrong character, that is not a crit.
That brief moment of excitement.
Yes.
When
It's
you-
still a 28 to hit though.
Oh, yes.
Damn.
Okay. 10, 20, 32 damage.
32 damage is more than enough to turn that one into a pile of goo.
And I'm going to use the momentum to carry me through.
Yep, you can absolutely occupy the same space as these guys when they're dead, because they're just a puddle.
And use the hasted attack to stab the other one.
Stab away.
That is a 24 to hit.
Yes.
Sadly, for substantially less damage. 10 damage.
10 damage. Still enough to take this one down. It's one foe remaining on the battlefield, and he's blind.
And I'm out of tricks, so.
That's okay. Those were some good tricks. All right. Shu, you're up.
Hey,
Have I not hit you yet, Shu?
nope.
Okay, you're my target in the next battle.
I'm gonna run straight
Damn.
down here because there's this guy down here.
What is Shu's movement with haste?
100
much.
feet.
Jesus Christ.
I could literally go over to where you guys are and then still jump down to this guy.
Dope monk shit.
Nope, monk shit. We're gonna go ahead and take our first attack
Always haste the monk.
for 22.
22 will hit.
Will hit. Let's go ahead and make it a stunning strike. See if I can stun this guy.
Okay. These ones aren't immune to stun either. Who designed these monsters? That is going to be an 18.
So passes. That's a 13 radiant damage.
Okay.
26 to hit.
Yes.
20 something. I can math today. Another 13 radiant damage.
Okay. No, not 41.
You can do 41, that's fine.
Nope. 13.
A natural 20 for 29.
Natural 20. That will hit.
I'm gonna pump my extra damage in. Because, yes.
Because why not?
And that would be 30 points of radiant damage.
So close. So close. He is still up, though.
Flurry of blows.
Go for it. He's looking real bad. It's not going to take much.
Dirty 20.
That'll hit.
11 radiant.
11 radiant. That is enough to turn him into a puddle. And you do have one more blow left, which you can use to punch the puddle.
Yeah, I'll punch the puddle.
Auto hit.
Okay.
It does enough damage, which is 1 point, to stop him from reforming. And that, I believe, is the end of combat.
Kind of.
Kind of. There is one other thing to resolve, as Kage is 30 feet up in the air, then immediately falls down into the remains of the big guy.
Hold on. So, I was thinking this guy would make it one more round, but he did not.
Oh
So-
Came close.
So Kage Misty steps, and he's facing the sky, and when he rolls himself over to attack what he thought was going to be underneath him, just look of panic. Oh shit. Face plant.
Face plant. Right into thick, sticky, black ichor. And you did fall, what was it, 30 feet?
Yeah.
30 feet. So that's going to be... Oh, that is more bludgeoning damage than it should be. That's going to be 12 bludgeoning damage.
It's okay.
It's 3d6.
Is-
Yeah.
No.
Is that
Rolled
what you wanted me to watch, Kage?
6, a 3, a 3.
just from the ground, he just wiggly thumbs up. Oh,
It was
This is like the
it
kid
was
screaming.
an impressive rock impression.
The kid screaming, "Watch this!" as he jumps off the roof.
That's how most trips to the ER start.
No, guys, I could totally do a backflip off the roof. Misses the pool completely.
So I think actually that's the perfect mental image to hold in our minds as we go ahead and take our first break of the evening. So get up, stretch your legs, refresh your drinks. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
And we are back. And
So
that
I
is a
based
cat.
yours off your eye
Okay.
color.
Welcome back.
And that is a cat.
Hi.
That is a cat.
Thank you, my dear.
That's Perseus.
Oh, Perseus was based off of one of his cats.
Wrong cat.
Yeah. Well, no, I know that. Who's your older cat?
Yeah. Fox, I still have cats. Just have to keep running Sonata.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah. We at least have to do it until Zora runs out of Eladrin to play.
That's not possible. I have so many backups.
I think you only have, what, 1 season left?
I have one more season. That doesn't mean I'm out of Eladrins.
Well, I should specify, never run anything until Zoro is out of characters, because she doesn't run out of characters.
No, and funny enough, I'm starting to fall in love with this character, but if we ever did a Sonata full campaign, my spring character I've played in like a live game before, and I absolutely love her. So I'm like, it would either be between her or my summer Eladrin if we ever went full campaign. Yeah, I've never run out of characters. I just came up with 5 more today. Just thinking of a character for the PvP.
So, as the last creature, the last abomination falls to the ground and melts away, you find yourselves all standing there in the frigid temperatures, perhaps a little more injured than you wanted to be at the start of your trek, but more or less all in one piece. Forge's right arm, however, is noticeably just kind of dangling at his side.
First things first, Saria's going to maintain concentration and have the wolf kind of just kind of circle around Forge, and Forge, you get 38 more health. Because then she's gonna whistle her wolf over so she can get some heals out of it. So I can get a little bit of heals up. And then she's gonna walk over to Forge and, do you need help getting that back in?
I just need help popping it back into place.
Well, I can do that for you if you want. It's not my first time I've had to do it, although it's my first on a mechanical person. I'm sure it's the same.
Pretty much the same as ripping the arm out of a socket of a living being.
All right. Just hold still, and I'd ask. I was gonna give you something to clamp down, to bite down on, but I don't think it even matters for you.
I don't feel pain.
Yep. All right. This will be even a lot easier. And she's gonna go ahead and try to jam it back into place.
So that will be a medicine check,
which I can do. Yep.
Thank you, because Forge is going to try to attempt to do it, and he's got 0 medicine.
It teetered on the Kraken. Teetered. But still, it's still pretty good. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. That is enough. The DC was 16.
Nice.
So it takes a bit of feeling around. As you said, you're not used to working with or on Warforge, but using what you know about humanoid and anatomy, you do eventually find the right angle and the right leverage to just quickly pop it right back into place. And Forge, you are going to take 5 damage from that, but it is now back into place and functional as an arm.
There you go. Good as new.
Thank you.
No problem.
During this interaction, Kage has slowly been rolling out of the goop.
That's fair.
Until he's on his back out of the goop, and he does prestidigitation while he's laying there just to get the goop off of him.
Yep.
Kage, why did you decide to fall from the sky and just land on your face? I'm not sure why you wanted me to see this.
It was going to be cool. Then it died.
I think I know what you were going for, and it kind of backfired. I'm sure it would have been cool, though. I believe you.
Like to think about this time my familiar lands on my head.
Durden's gonna say, Didn't you try this the last time we were fighting something?
I'll get it eventually.
Well, practice makes perfect, as they say.
It'll
What
happen.
gets you killed? One of the two.
Mm.
While all this is going on, Forge is going to cast Cure Wounds at level 2 on himself.
Auntie, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just setting up the warding.
Okay.
Well, Perseus is thinking of it. He's going to pull the decanter from his side and shake it and pop the cork and stick a claw inside.
Right. Oh, I should. That's okay. I was not prepared for that. I should have been, but I wasn't.
If this is how today's going to go, I want to know what this thing is today.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's see. Okay. That is. Oh, good lord! I made a big chart for this.
That's
That
the
is
problem.
a percentile roll from you, sir.
39.
39. Ooh, you are indeed lucky. Holy shit, you're lucky. You always get the lucky rolls when it comes to your equipment, man. You dip a claw in it and you give it a taste, and you are quite thrilled when you discover that inside of this decanter is a potion of superior healing.
Oh,
Damn.
the player is jealous.
So that those heal 8d4 plus 8.
Dang.
Yeah,
Right.
dang. That was one away from a potion of poison.
Perseus would have also used that, so
That's fair.
Yeah, because you don't drink it, right? It's just or anything
No,
like
just
that. It's
stick
just
a
you
claw
gain
in
the
and go.
item.
Okay, fine, fine.
Oh.
You were 6 away from a filter of love.
Oh.
I could use that too. Don't
You know,
tempt
you
me.
probably could.
Love it. Love it.
All right. So is there anything that anyone is doing at the moment while Antia finishes the warding spells that she is currently ritual casting?
Looking at my
Durden,
wounds.
Durden is going to cast Create Bonfire on any of the puddle of goos.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough to do. You can take the time to do it on each one of them.
Yep, he just wants to make sure that I don't know fully which ones can and can't reform and what all the conditions are, but they seem to burn pretty easily, so he's gonna go with that until he's proven otherwise.
Yep. So you take the time, go around to each puddle and drop the bonfire on them, and they sizzle and pop and eventually just burn away until there's black smears left on the snow.
Perseus is going to run over to Durden and tug on his robe slightly as he's walking around. So, interesting note. Psychic damage doesn't work at all on those.
Oh.
Well, that's good to know.
That's really good to know. So and she looks over at Durden. I take it you, or maybe all of you, have encountered these before, because it was weird when you said the puddle thing and then it just disappeared. So I'm assuming something bad happens with the puddle.
They reform and start beating you into the floor again.
Oh, all right. That's really good to know. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I would have just completely walked past.
Great if you're looking for a sparring partner, not so great if you want to survive.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Durden goes, he like the bonfire he just puts out where the big one was. He's like, that one's new.
Yeah, I didn't know they came in large format.
Just so I know for the future, because again, you called it out. I assume also bad things happen from them howling.
They summon more.
Yeah,
They bring more.
These are assholes.
yeah, they're not fun.
You
Okay.
should meet the guy that created them.
Was it Eugene?
Probably.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he made them, but he definitely has some
I'm going to
sway
take out
over
my
them.
problem with them on him, though.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I certainly feel like that's given him too much credit, but I certainly agree with your course of action.
Yeah. Well, we're just waiting for little Antia to finish her thing, and then we'll figure out where we're
Don't
going to
call
go
me that.
next. Hey, you're supposed to be concentrating.
Oh, good. I can have a little bit of a rest then.
Why do you
That was
call
a
her
lot of
little?
punches.
Because she's just a child.
He doesn't appear to be
Am
Oh.
not.
diminutive
Well,
in size.
Compared to my race, I guess. I've known her since she was yay high. She was just a
You're-
little thing.
You're not rather tall yourself.
It's not a size thing, it's an age thing. I watched her grow up. I'm kind of like her aunt. At least I like to think so.
It's a term of endearment, Durden.
Yeah.
I mean,
Durden?
I watched her grow up.
Forge, sorry.
Durden's there
Oh.
talking to himself. We have another
Yeah.
problem.
Nerdin.
After what he's been through, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
It's like a nickname.
Yeah. It's a nickname for someone that you care for. And I've been watching her since she was really little. So I watched her and all of her siblings grow up and everything. So she's just always been little in my eyes because that's just how I saw her.
So you know, like the whole family.
Yeah. Our clans are very close.
You'll
I
have to
wouldn't
tell me
put it
some
that
cool
way.
stories later.
Durden,
Oh,
not
stories.
Durden.
I like stories.
Okay, do you require assistance standing?
I'm good.
Still standing.
Just laying here questioning my life decisions.
I mean,
Yeah,
He's
that's-
just
definitely lots of
over and
stories.
over in his head going, I'll get it someday. I'll get it someday. It'll happen.
One day it'll all look awesome, and all these broken ribs will be worth it.
Jeez.
Not to add, a little salt on the wound, but Ash did pretty much the same thing you're trying to do and succeeded.
Of course she did. She had
Wow.
20s in almost everything.
That's
Um,
before Sahara poofed from existence for a while.
Are there any animals around that I can see?
Give me a perception check.
You can see my falcon sitting on my head.
Yep, that's a big fat nope. That's a 10 total.
A 10 total. You do notice as you kind of look around that the wind has begun to die down a little bit, so your vision has improved somewhat, but the area that you're in at the moment is fairly barren, and you don't see really anything as far as animals go.
Alright, then I'm gonna send my familiar up, and I'm going to basically just take a meditative squat and do the sense thing and basically just loop the area just to make sure there's no more of those things coming at us.
Okay. Actually, since Antia is going to take another 10 minutes or so to finish these rituals, we can do a group perception on the area if anyone wants to partake in that.
Sure.
Eventually, I'll sit up and send my familiar out to do the same in the opposite direction or whatever.
Sorry, what are we doing?
Group perception.
Group perception.
My dice are cursed tonight. At least my D20s are.
She was too
What was
busy
that?
thinking, why is he sitting on the ground? Is that where we're supposed to sleep? That looks cold. Uncomfortable. Why is he doing that?
Oh, come on. I rolled low.
That's a
20.
12.
That's a 22.
I rolled low. It's a 22.
I have really high perception. I have
Dude.
really
I
high
felt with
perception.
Tarshara.
I rolled low
My passive is 19.
with a 9.
Yeah, I rolled low with a 9 as well.
12, a
30,
22, a 9, a 9. Sorry, what was that, Shadow Fox?
30-20.
Dirty 20. And Durden?
Oh, I'm gonna roll again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's better. That is a 16.
16. Okay. There were some low rolls in there, but the majority was good enough. Especially now that the wind, like I say, has died down. You definitely don't see any more of these creatures in the area. And now that you have a clearer view of your surroundings, and given that it is still somewhat during the day, you can see almost the whole landscape around you. To your north and northeast is an open snowscape that is sparsely patterned with leafless trees, boulders, and snow dunes. A mountain range far, far to the southwest seems to bend around to the west and to the northwest, disappearing into the fading horizon. And to the south, you see a faint orange glow hovering above the horizon. And you get a bit of an uneasy feeling when you stare in that direction for too long.
So it's not a sunset.
No.
You said it's directly south?
Yes.
And that's not where we're heading, correct?
No, it is not. As far as you know, anyway. Don't know quite where you are exactly, but you know that the village is somewhere on the northeastern part of the continent. So south is an unlikely direction that you'll be heading.
Like he'll let the party know that there's some weird orange light to the south. Feels kind of creepy. You probably shouldn't head in that direction.
And when Durden points that out, Saria, as you look in that direction, give me a nature check using your wisdom instead of your intelligence.
Nature. Okay. Okay. 28.
Damn. Okay.
I rolled a 19 on the die.
That was a really high DC, but a 28 certainly meets it. You take a few minutes to really kind of take in your surroundings and think about the geography of the area that you're in, and you think you recognize that mountain range that's to the west of you. And if it's the mountain range that you think it is, and you're positioned where you think you are, then this orange glow is likely hovering above a place called the Weeping Woods. And
do I know anything about the Weeping Woods?
Yes, you do. You know that the Weeping Woods is an old-growth forest said to have been cursed by a powerful creature millennia ago, until rumors began to spread that an archfey had moved in and attempted to lift the curse. Though right here is where the stories that you've heard kind of diverge from each other. Some say that the archfey was successful in removing the curse. Some say they were not. And others say that no such archfey ever lived in those woods.
Oh God, is it what's her face? Is that what she was doing in those woods?
So she's gonna kind of look in that direction, squint, and then her eyes go a little wide, and she's like, "Huh, that's actually the Weeping Woods. They're and just to backtrack real quick, do I know what the orange thing is that's hovering over it or that's glowing from it?
You do not.
I do not. Okay. It's like, that's interesting. They're supposedly cursed woods, but I don't know what is emitting from them.
Is that why they're crying?
Well, it's one way to put it, but I don't know. It's hard to tell if it's fire. How far away is it from us?
It is beyond the horizon.
Okay.
They're not crying. Why are they called the Weeping Woods?
There's old reasons behind it, but they're not actually weeping.
Then why is it called the Weeping Woods? That doesn't make any sense.
It's a term of endearment.
No.
Not quite. No.
That's weird.
No.
Okay.
No. It's they're cursed. We're just gonna leave it at that. They're cursed.
Are they cursed to cry?
Yes.
Maybe
They're
the
cursed to
person that
cry.
named them was crying in them when they named it.
Or it could be the fact that the trees cover the forest to the point to where it's thick, like, not quite weeping willows, but you know how it's just lower to the ground.
Maybe the trees actually cry.
Don't get it. That's what I was trying to find out.
You know what? From what I can tell, there was an archfey that apparently moved in there, so who knows? Archfey can be pretty crazy, so maybe they did make them weeping. Who knows? It's entirely possible.
I want to see a crying forest.
I wouldn't put past crazy for an archway.
Hey,
Are
you're
you
right, but hey,
are you an archfey?
no,
Well, then
but hey,
I haven't called you crazy then.
pretty sure you have, but that's besides the point.
So yeah, so that's something we'll have to do later. Huh.
Those of you from Sonata 2, give me a history check.
Does it have to do with fae, fiends, or undead?
It has to do with remembering stuff.
25.
If it has to do with fae, fiends, or undead, I get advantage.
I mean, technically, you could make the argument that you have advantage on every roll that has to do with remembering stuff because it has to do with you, who is a fae. But
I'm not going to make that argument, but thank you for pointing that out.
It's a straight roll.
I got a 25.
I got a 2. If I had remembered, I probably blocked it out.
He just remembers
Jesus,
again.
dirty 20 again.
Okay. And Perseus, I saw you shaking your head, but what's the number?
Before or after modifiers?
After?
1.
Is it better after or better
Oh
before?
no, he said it was 1.
It's the same.
Gotcha. Okay. So Kage and Forge, after hearing everything that Saria had to say, and thinking about the location that you're in, and remembering what Antia had said to you, that she was on her way here or in this direction when you first came across her, you feel like there's a decent chance that those woods are the woods that you encountered Alcius in.
Didn't Alcius... Oh, sorry.
You do recall that when Alcius went to pick you up after you fought the dragon, that she had mentioned she lit those woods on fire.
Her woods, right?
Yes.
Those are the woods that Arceus lit on fire, isn't it?
They're on fire?
She lit them on fire.
Why?
Oh God, I blocked that out.
Why would?
She had to do it fighting the shadow. And Kage's actually, you could tell he's really sad about that.
That's really unfortunate. They're old woods.
They were very beautiful.
The shadow needs to be stopped. It's destroying too many forests.
You also know, Saria, specifically you, that these woods, they're big, but they're not so big that a forest fire would stay alight for over 6 weeks. And at this point, it has been burning for over 6 weeks. So there's definitely something weird going on there.
Yeah, something's not right, but it's kind of out of the way. It's hard to tell right now. one thing at a time, but we'll have to talk to your friend maybe about this.
He did seem hopeful that one day we might be able to replant it.
Well, that's good at least. I hope so. All right. Auntie, are you almost done?
I am quite done, actually. If you're finished talking about trees, we can get ready to go.
Oh, you live in a forest too. Don't act like you don't
I
care.
live on the edge of a forest.
And yet you used to talk to the animals in the forest.
I still do.
Well, then there you go. You are always part of the forest,
Right.
whether you want to or not.
I don't want to.
Anything you want to?
Yeah, I would like to get this done and go home. I want to do that.
She wants to go back to her books.
I do.
If going back to her books faster means getting Snowdrop faster, I agree.
I suppose step one is probably figuring out where we are exactly. Thankfully, I brought along a trinket just for that. And she pulls from her, the inner pocket of her jacket, a brass contraption, and she lays it flat on her palm. The contraption itself appears to be several flat discs all pinned together at various points. You can see script of some kind engraved on the outer edges of the discs and arcane runes on the flat sides. She mutters a quick incantation, scribing more runes in the air with her thumb of her free hand, and the contraption springs to life, floating above her hand, the discs spinning in opposing orientations to each other, much like a gyroscope. And as soon as it spins up, a translucent arcane globe emanates from the object, about a foot and a half or so in diameter. Faint outlines of landmasses all across its surface, though there are there is much of it that is also blank, like a map covered by fog in some way. And she examines it for a couple moments before eventually snatching it out of the air and stuffing it back in her pocket. Seems we're about a day or two away from Moordale, further than I would have liked.
Well, you got us close enough.
I suppose.
All
So
right.
that does mean we will have to do a bit of traveling. Do any of you know the Find the Path spell?
No, but are we in a forest?
We are not.
Fuck.
We are on a fairly barren snowscape.
You put us in a forest for the first two sonatas. I
Mhm.
prepped a fuck ton of spells to really help us through forest terrain. And we're not in a fucking forest.
We are not.
The good thing is I'm a druid, so I can swap those out.
Yeah.
Damn it.
The forest
Fuck.
is behind you and it's on fire.
Damn it. Okay. So no, I can't help us. I had plenty of stuff to help us.
I mean, she's pretty good at finding paths.
No, I mean magic. It's a spell.
What
Leads
about,
you to where you intend on going.
I don't understand magic.
are there any animals around?
I just asked that question.
Yeah. Durden
Were
did
you
that
listening?
check already.
Can
There
I
are not.
use his animal?
He does not have an animal. He has a familiar.
Yeah, like my owl does not look like a normal owl. It has like very elongated, like woodsy eyelashes that are golden color, and it's a mix of golds and browns, and not blonde, like literal gold.
Okay. So give me a second. Nope. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and just for the time being, I'm gonna cast Hunter's Cunning on myself.
Okay.
Which gives me I basically attune to the environment around me, and it lasts for an hour. And I have advantage on perception checks and survival checks. And apparently it ignores the effect of natural, non-magical, difficult terrain.
Okay.
So that is the best I can do without being in a forest.
Fair enough. So that's a no on anyone having that spell then?
Yeah, no.
All right, well, it's a good thing I prepared it today.
Oh, well, you could have just said that without being snarky.
I wanted to give you the opportunity.
Oh, thank you so
However,
much.
if I'm going to be concentrating on another spell,
Mm-hmm.
that means I really, really cannot help any of you if we get into trouble.
Well, it's a good thing we're doing all the bodyguarding and just killed all those creatures where you sat over there, huh?
That was much appreciated, though one of them did hit me.
Yeah, you can handle it. You're tough.
Maybe
I
you should
mean,
make a
I
better place
stopped
to sit
3
down.
of them from getting to you directly. Come on.
Yeah. Her
It
mama
was
raised no wimp.
a valiant effort, and I appreciate it.
Doesn't sound like it.
What level is looking at?
As I mentioned before we set out, I apologized in advance if I seem a bit short with anyone. I'm just not used to group environments.
Unless they are on all fours and make animal sounds because she only talks to animals.
Precisely.
I can do that.
Great.
The dragon an animal? Some dragon like.
No. A dragon is a dragon.
Sorry, Shu.
But most of them are rude anyway.
Not you, though, Shu.
Shu's not rude.
No, you
I
seem
will remember
quite
this.
nice, but I mean actual dragons.
To be honest, the last dragon we encountered did try to kill us.
Shu does literally just turn and like throws her head off the side like she's not listening no more.
Yes, he tried to kill me as well.
Or Shu in her mind, she's like, I'm a mighty dragon.
So everyone has winter gear, right? Because it's going to get quite cold.
Durden's wearing his winter gear.
I'm sorry, you're asking us this now when we're not in the city?
Well, I had hoped that you'd brought it with you. This is more just a reminder to put it on if you haven't.
I mean, I did, but just saying, time to have asked with him. Anyway,
She's going to set down her bag that looks like it's brimming with stuff and start like taking stuff out to find her clothes. Just a bunch of random crap. Just a bunch of random crap.
How many days is it for travel? Do you think, Antia?
1 or 2. My map isn't that exact. It's more of an approximation.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Tomorrow, I'll be sure to use one of my spells to help you out.
That would be welcome.
My one high-level spell slot.
If you don't feel like it, you don't have to.
No, it's fine.
I'm capable.
Oh, I know you are. It's fine.
Just putting the offer out there.
Just have to wait till tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm not able to. I'll have to commune with the nature around me again tomorrow morning, and I'll do it.
I still say you should just give writing them down in a book a try.
Yeah, my magic doesn't quite work that way.
It would with enough study.
I just have a lot of patience and meditation around the environment around me, and I'm bestowed magic because of it.
Yes, but it's not quite the same magic, is it?
It is. It's better.
Arguable.
Potato.
It's great magic. I don't deny that. you can do some pretty impressive feats, but it's more of a natural magic rather than an arcane magic.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Right, so why not take the time to study and have both types of magic at your disposal?
You know, my clan really doesn't go around studying books. It's not really our thing. Plus, I'm a Silver Guardian. We don't really do books.
You could always leave your clan, stay at the keep.
You're hilarious. No. She'll ruffle up her hair a little bit.
All right, time to go.
Yep.
While they were arguing amongst themselves, Durden was ritualistically casting Phantom Steed.
A good spell to have.
And he's going to burn a sorcery point to do extend, and so it'll last 2 hours.
All right. That is good to know.
I have a 9 strength. I'm not walking for
Yeah, that's totally fair.
it's like hoofing it is not his thing.
And Shadow Fox, to answer your question, it hurts my soul a lot to talk down about the powers of a druid. So I'll point out the path, but who's going to take the lead? At least for this first bit of travel.
Well, which way is it?
That way.
So I'll call down my familiar. I'll scrooge her on the head. Good job. You did good. All right, let's go, Snow Droplet. I go.
And then, like, under, like, Durden's breath in Draconic, he's like, God, I hate them. It's, like, sarcastic, but it's, like, you know. And,
Now
for
rude.
for anyone who cares, well, you're the only one that can hear me.
Yeah. And that's what Trees Flies and Draconic. Now who's rude?
I didn't say anything. And anyone who's interested, Durden's steed again is white and gold, golden mane, golden tail. It is very much different from his general attitude.
And unfortunately, there's no boat to use as a sled this time around.
Yeah.
I know. I only had one patch for that. It was super useful.
It was, yeah. But that's okay because the weather is a little bit nicer this time around. It is painfully cold, but the wind has died down a little bit and it's not snowing at the moment. So at least your vision is a little bit better than what it was when you first arrived in this area just minutes ago. And
Didn't everyone pack their shields so we can sit on top of them and tie ropes to the horse? No? Damn it.
I technically have one, but it's an arm buckle. I don't think it's big enough to sit my butt on it.
You can just stand on it with one
I'll
foot.
wild shape
There
into
you
a
go.
bunny and just
Sit on it. There you go.
There you go.
just do a snow rabbit and just be like,
I mean, Shu's small enough, you know. Durden wouldn't mind if she wants to sit up on the horse. If she's complaining about having to move, she doesn't seem like she'd have a problem moving, since I just saw her run around a battlefield like a bat out of hell.
Yep.
So,
She has no problem running along.
So as we push forward with Snow Droplet assisting Kage, the travel rolls this time around are going to be perception or survival rolls, your choice of which one you want to do. And there won't be a percentile associated with it unless I ask for one.
All right.
So, Kage, with you in the lead, let me know if you're doing a perception or a survival.
They're both the same, but Snow Droplet has advantage on perception dealing with sight, hearing.
for the record, is anyone gonna have aside from Durdred and Shoe, is anyone else going to struggle with this? How about Kitty Cat?
No. I think I should be fine.
Okay.
Roll up is perception of 22.
22. Okay. So as you proceed along the path that Antia lays out for you, you find traveling to be quite easy. You came prepared for this region, and the weather is working in your favor, and it is actually a fairly quick stride for the next 2 hours of travel. I do need Constitution saving throws from everybody at this point, though, because it is frigid up here.
We all put on cold weather gear, though, right?
You sure did.
Yep.
If you
Some of
hadn't,
us are
you
even
would
extra
be.
fuzzy.
Do you need that? Do you need it from Forge?
Yep, I need it from everybody. If you hadn't put on the cold weather gear, you would be taking damage alongside the con save.
Oh, wow.
17.
Constitution saving throws?
Yes.
30, 20.
We will start actually with Raven.
Kitty's struggling with the tall snow. 11.
11. That is not a great way to start travel. I'm afraid, Perseus, though you did come prepared for this type of weather, you didn't come prepared for all the snow that keeps blowing in your face with the low wind in this snowscape. And it's really starting to take its toll on you to the point where you have 1 point of exhaustion for failing that con save.
Can Forge offer Perseus a ride on his shoulder?
He certainly can, but that won't affect this roll. That.
Oh yeah, like seeing him struggle.
Yep.
This time around.
I offered and Kitty said no.
Is Perseus small or medium?
Small.
2'7".
Yep.
Yeah.
You could ride on Beauregard.
He is cat.
That's right. You could ride on Beauregard.
Beauregard is spiky.
Yeah, Beauregard is very spiky along the back. He's got defensive spines.
You could ride carefully on.
Bang.
He could ride. He could sit on like Forge's shoulder.
At some point along all of this, I'm actually going to like hop up and grip onto the back of Forge. Just be like, help.
This is a comment I wanted to make, but I won't.
I don't
he
think...
He kind of like tries to lower himself down to let Perseus get in a comfortable position.
I don't think this is the first time that a cat has ridden on Forge, so you should be used to it. At this point.
We did it in back in season 2 too.
And
So-
one.
And one.
What did Shu roll on the con save?
She was also really struggling in the tall snow with a natural 1.
A natural
Ooh.
1. Okay.
I thought you were on the horse though.
I was not on the horse.
Oh, all the
So-
little ones, get on the fucking horse.
Shoot.
Jordan said he would have offered the fact that she just dashed through enemies like there was nothing.
Shu, being a
Mother
kobold,
effer.
you are naturally curious about machinations and stuff, and so you're following really closely behind Forge, just trying to study him as you go. And Forge doesn't realize that with every step he takes, he kicks up a little bit of snow, and it keeps hitting you in the face.
Oh,
And I'm not smart enough to move.
Yeah. So
No.
For 2 hours.
2 hours.
unfortunately,
just snow constantly in the face.
you also suffer a point of exhaustion. And what did Durden roll?
I'm proficient and I still rolled like garbage. I got a 9 total.
Jesus.
Oh man, this is not working out for you guys.
Well, I mean, if I roll a 3 on the die, there's not a whole lot I can do
That's
now,
true.
can I?
It's true.
I'm not like you fighters with your damn indomitable and whatnot.
Just to be clear, the eye rolling is not at you, Trent. It's at how much your dice hate you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Durden, you are riding your mount, and it's making travel easier for you. But the mount is a lot faster than the group, and it naturally wants to go its natural speed. So it runs quite quickly ahead of the group, and then it has to stop and wait. And those bursts of chilled air in your face every time it takes that sprint forward are really starting to get on your nerves. And you as well
Take
suffer from a point of exhaustion.
Exhaustion.
Saria, please tell me you rolled better than the rest of them.
I rolled a 17.
17 will do it for you.
Thank
You
you.
do not suffer from a point of exhaustion. And Kage, what did you roll?
Another dirty 20.
Dirty 20, you as well do not suffer from a point of exhaustion. Forge.
19.
19, you are good. So 3 successes, 3 failures. Could be worse.
Saria is gonna look over at her freezing companions, her smaller ones, and she sees Perseus going up on Forge's shoulders, and so she'll look at Shu and go, do you want to ride? I can give you a ride to kind of help you out a little bit. I think you'll be warmer. You're starting to get, like, you the tip of your nose is starting to get a little red from the cold.
Okay. She will ride.
Yeah, I'll make it nice and warm for you. Actually, can you hold on to this real quick? And she's gonna give you it looks like it's almost like a chess piece, made entirely from wood. It's just carved, and it looks like a wolf sitting. And she's gonna say, just keep this on you for the time, okay?
Okay.
And she'll go ahead and she'll turn into her direwolf form with wild shape, as Auntie has seen many times. So she's this dark brown direwolf with her moonstone eyes, pupilless eyes. But the tips of the fur looks like it's almost a shimmering red and oranges at the tips. And she lays down for you to get on her back. And then all of a sudden in your head you hear, well, hop on.
She's gonna scramble over and hop on. Not really sure why there's a voice in her head, but meh.
Yeah, keep that token on you. I'll be able to communicate with you this way.
She'll just open the wrap and stick it in.
What form did you take?
Direwolf.
Yes. Okay.
And it's a large beast. So if Perseus wanted to hop on, or anyone else, I'm sure I can carry at least one other person.
Does
minus
the kitty
Forge.
want to ride the dog?
And the fur, because I was originally going to do horse, but I'm like, you know what? The fur will be nice and warm. So
Yeah, I'll more snuggle down in that fur.
yeah. And she doesn't mind it. She's used to it from when all the kids were, all the Lycan kids were kids.
So seeing her turn into a dire wolf, Kage gets a big grin on his face. All right, this can work now. And he turns into full fox form. So he's a fox, but now he can talk to sorry, Zara, what's your character's name?
Saria.
Saria. He can talk to Saria because they're both canines.
It's like a mispronunciation of Sarah. How about that? Saria. Oh, hey. I didn't know you could do that.
I thought I kind of said. Oh no, yeah, I can do that.
Interesting. I've seen some of your kind before, maybe. Not you specifically, but you know.
Really, I haven't seen a whole lot of us.
Our force is very big. You're
That's
rare.
true.
Definitely rare.
Oh, thank you.
And so she'll in her head, or in Shu's head, she'll hear like, all right, just hang on.
And I
Going.
should be able to still communicate with my familiar because it's a telepathic link.
Yep.
And now I could physically communicate with Saria, and she can relay messages to the group if needed. So I'll continue moving along that way. And If it matters, if it means anything, I know this is colder than usual, but I have damage resistance to cold in this form.
Understood. And so,
Durden
go
has
ahead.
to ritualistically cast Phantom Steed again.
Okay, that actually works out because Antia is going to request that everyone stops for just a moment. She does something. And while Durden is ritual casting and Antia is doing her thing, we are going to go ahead and take our second break of the evening. So bear with us. Get up, stretch your legs, refresh your drinks. We will be back here in just a few minutes.
And we are back.
Lies and slander, sir. Lies and
Hi.
slander.
Welcome back. So, at the moment, the group has stopped their travel so that Durden can recast his ritual spell, and so Antia can do whatever it is she's doing. It looks like she's casting a spell, but she hasn't volunteered any information as to what or why. But she does speak up after a moment. Are we going to, do any of you need a bit of a rest? Are you okay to continue in just a few moments?
Kage cocks his head, starts pouncing around in snow.
Yeah,
He
pardon
was
me.
just kind of flopped over the back of
Did
Saria.
the horse ride count as a short rest?
It did not because you failed your con save.
I'm okay with that.
I didn't
And
even think about that,
Perseus.
but I will say it now. If you ride that horse and succeed on the con save, you can have a short rest.
And Perseus is in catnap mode on Forge's backpack behind his head.
Like a real cat.
You could
In-
probably get some good rest too. All the
Yeah.
all the small people in Durdrin need the rest.
Yep. So as we press forward, do be aware that this area is quite dangerous. Aside from whatever abominations that the shadow has brought here, there are many natural dangers as well. Creatures, weather, obviously. So do keep an extra eye out.
You happen to know what creatures? And of course, everyone just sees a direwolf just there, kind of panting. Because only you hear it.
Yeah, I have a few ideas. There's some giants and stuff in the area, and there are a few undead types wandering around. You know, the usual.
I'll keep my nose and ears up and ready.
Best you do. You don't want to be caught off guard, especially by the giants.
Yeah.
What
Especially.
giants?
Well, they're a type that's usually only found in areas like this, snow giants. Every once in a while, they can be found wandering around with, well, I don't really know if this is the actual name, but we've always called them thin giants. They're kind of grotesque.
They sound lovely.
Great.
Yes, they move and shift in unsettling ways.
Shapeshifters?
No, not that kind of shift. Just more kind of like jerky motions, and I've heard of them taking bites out of people too.
Lovely.
Yes.
Awesome.
No.
Well, I'm just about done here. So who's gonna go ahead and take the next watch, let's say, on our travel?
I'll do a little yip. And volunteer.
Right? So as everyone presses forward, go ahead and give me either perception or survival.
Can I aid since we can communicate and whatnot?
Well, I get advantage anyway. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can, but she does already have advantage, so.
But thank you.
Never mind.
I've got my keen senses. Oh, thank God. That could have been bad. Let me look up my wolf stats. Oh no, it doesn't matter. It's still my stats technically. Where's my there we go. Oh, it's the same as the wolf anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so that is 22.
22. Okay, good roll. At this point in the day, the sun is a bit lower on the horizon, so it's getting a bit darker out, though not enough for your vision to really be impacted too much. You feel the wind picking up a little bit, but again, not so much as to obscure your vision in any way. And as you proceed forward, could you roll a percentile for me?
Uh-oh.
Whereas doomed as doomed can be.
I just realized that I almost have the same exact stats as a dire wolf. That's kind of funny, even the passive perception. Oh, nice. 93.
93.
I had a little dyslexia there for a moment. I was like, oh. Nope.
Okay. So as you're proceeding forward through the snow, you are uniquely tuned to this type of terrain. You've spent a lot of time in it, both in animal form and out of animal form. And before too long, your nose picks up on a very, very faint scent that you somewhat recognize as decay.
Do I know which direction it's coming from? If it's ahead of us or behind us or somewhere else?
It is ahead of you. And yeah, that was a high enough roll. It was a 22. You get the feeling that it's somewhere between 100 and 200 feet ahead of you. Ahead and kind of to the right.
I'll go ahead and stop and very noticeably sniff the air. And I guess technically the only people who can hear this would be Shu, Anita, and not Shadow Fox's character. I don't know why the name escaped me. Kage. She's gonna say, I smell rot and decay. I think there's some undead up ahead. They're a ways off, but they're in our path.
5 more minutes.
Do you want to go give it a look? Or what's the move here?
I mean, I can certainly scout ahead and take a quick look. I shouldn't be too long if you don't mind just watching Shu for me real quick.
Kage will say, I could send Snow Droplet.
Sure. And that works too. Either way, just to scout it out.
He'll sit down in the snow and command Snow Droplet to fly over that direction quietly.
Okay. So as you get an aerial view, give me a perception check.
Dirty 20.
Okay. It only takes a few moments once your familiar gets to the right area, which is about 140 feet or so away from you guys, that it spots, or I guess you spot rather, what looks to be a hand sticking up out of the snow. And the flesh on the hand is very clearly frozen, has been for a very long time. Half of it's rotted away. There's some bare bone sticking out on the forearm as well. It doesn't appear to be moving. It's just a small lump in the snow, so there's likely only one of these here, whether it's a body or a pile of bones or part of a body. You can't tell because it's mostly covered in snow, but you spot the hand.
All right. I'll have Snow Droplet do a couple circles around just to make sure that there's no more indicators of extra bodies, and then have her come back.
Yep, and carrying over that roll, you don't spot any other bodies or anything.
So she comes back and actually she doesn't have to come back. I already know this stuff, but tell her to come on her way back, and I'll shift out of fox form back to human say, there's a hand sticking out of the ground up there. It's all frozen and rotted, and it looks like there's only the one. But I mean, it's pretty deep snow, so.
Maybe
But it
we
wasn't
should
moving.
maybe we should avoid it.
Maybe.
I mean, could just be a body. Could be. Who knows? Maybe it won't move until we get closer or disturb it. It's hard to say, but if there's one, I'd say we just don't chance it and try to walk a little bit around it. Just in case.
Probably
I
the
leave the
smartest thing.
decision up to you guys.
Shu, can you go ahead, since you're the only one that can hear me, can you go ahead and let them know that if they want to avoid the dead body just in case it's a trap, or just they don't care?
I think she
Shu,
was
are you
asleep.
asleep?
5 more minutes.
Shu, since you're the only one that can hear me, can you relay the message to the rest of the group, asking if they want to avoid the dead body in case it's a trap, or they don't care?
Out loud, she's gonna go, not everyone can hear you?
No, and you don't have to shout, but no, just you.
Oh.
Well, and the other two, but I mean, the rest of the group can't hear me.
Saria. I can't. Why am I saying it like that? I don't know. Can't stop it right now.
It's all good.
Says that there's an undead up ahead, but we can avoid them if we go around.
Well, might be undead, but yeah, close enough.
Going around would probably be the best idea.
I fully agree with that. We don't need to pick a fight with any undead if we can avoid it.
Do you understand them?
I can understand them, yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just tell them to follow me, because at least my nose will let me know where the undead is, and we won't have to be too terribly close to it.
Okay, so it sounds like the plan is to go around.
I'm
Yes.
curling back up. Back asleep.
Then
Snaggle.
Okay, yeah, and you can go around the area, no problem. Nothing happens. You proceed forward and continue this block of travel. I do need, at this point, more con saves from everyone. So we will start.
What about the small people riding?
The small people do still need to make the con saves, as you are still affected by the weather, even if you are relaxing on the journey. So, Perseus, what did you roll?
Oh.
He's still being buffeted.
Does
Kitty cat.
Does he get advantage for being snuggled up in my backpack?
You know what? Sure.
I was gonna say Shu
Yeah.
as well, because I specifically chose fur so she can like snuggle in the warmth.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
The number of dice.
Look, I'm trying to help.
Yeah.
Work
I'm
with me
trying to
here.
help the small people.
my dice are saying no. That's a 7.
Oh.
7. Ooh. You just can't shake that chill that has taken hold of you since you started journeying through this tundra just a few hours ago. And I am afraid that you now suffer from a second point of exhaustion.
Oh, gee.
That's when
Shoo.
it starts getting bad. 'Cause
Shu got a 22.
22. Shu, you are, well, not nice and cozy, but cozier atop this direwolf than you were behind Forge getting snowballs to the face. So you succeeded on your save. Durden.
actually rolled decent. That is a 24.
You are as well. Good. You've kind of adjusted and adapted to the environment, and at least for the time being, feel okay pushing forward. Saria.
Another 17.
17. You're starting to feel the cold. It is nipping at you. It is getting harder and harder to want to keep going forward, especially now that the sun is starting to go down and you know it's starting to get colder. But for the time being, you are okay.
Okay.
Kage.
I too rolled a 17.
17, same deal. You feel it starting to creep in, but for now are able to fend it off. Forge.
26.
26. You're a machine, literally
Yes, I
and
am.
figuratively. And you just keep plowing forward, almost like the cold isn't even there.
It's like I don't feel it or something.
Yep. And at this point, again, Antia asks for a few minutes to stop and adjust things. Anyone that has any rituals that they need to cast or recast can do it at the moment.
Is the sun sufficiently down enough where we would want to take a rest?
It is just touching the horizon, so you could take a rest if you wanted to. You could press on a little bit if you wanted to without any penalties. The choice is really yours.
I'm just really sad I can't turn into a winter wolf because they're a CR3 and I can only do one, max of one. Makes me sad because I'm immune to cold. I mean, I'm okay to press on just a little bit longer, but I know my companions are, some of my companions are not doing so well, so she'll express to Shu to relay like we probably should take a rest so our companions could get better.
Well, if he says she wants rest,
Sophie says she wants rest.
You just hear like a little whimper, like,
It would be a good idea. Some of you seem to be getting a little too cold at the moment.
Perseus is like half in your backpack at this point.
Maybe stuffing you into tents will make you warm.
All right, well, I guess if we're gonna do this, Durden starts ritualistically casting Tiny Hut.
he was going to climb off the wolf and start building a little cooking fire.
Okay.
And pulling
Okay.
out packages of food from her, of actual meal foods from her backpack to start cooking meals for everyone.
Cobalt MREs.
Kage begins hunting mice in the snow.
Give me a survival roll.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. I'll do something too as soon as he's done.
That's going to be a 23.
You find 3 little mice.
Are they blind?
I was about to say
They are now.
I'm going to drop my wild shape form, and I'm going to start putting together some firewood and just light it. I'm just going to use produce flame and just light it up,
Yeah, and
just so everyone can get warm.
it's not very difficult to find firewood. I mean, this area isn't full of trees, but there's enough kind of sporadically throughout that you don't have to roll to find some.
If I spend the time, if this ever like happens and there's no wood, could I spend the time to just druidcraft the fuck out of like a pile and slowly build up a fire?
You can absolutely abuse druidcraft if you want to. The sacred art of druidcraft.
I'm trying to keep everyone warm.
Look, if they didn't want druidcraft spammed, they wouldn't have made it a cantrip.
Oh, I have no problem with spamming cantrips.
That's what I'm saying. If we're out of firewood, I'll just do that. But since there's wood around, I won't waste the effort.
You're just kind of laughing in the face of the sacred art of druids. That's all.
Yeah,
Look,
but I'm kind of a warrior druid, so. But I'll make a nice like big enough fire. That way we can kind of crowd around and all that good stuff. Since we're a pretty big group.
Oh, I mean, I made a tiny hut, so I mean. It's
Wouldn't the smoke get trapped in it?
no.
No,
Oh, good.
the smoke can escape. It's
Slowly
not a wall of
suffocate
force.
us.
Yeah, it's a dome of force. So, but it keeps things out. It doesn't keep smoke in.
Okay, good.
The smoke
And
Just want
just
bad
the
insulation,
smoke
and
just
you
goes
know.
through the top and gives away the location of the hut.
Nobody's chasing you, right? So you don't have to hide.
Womp womp.
We don't have a puppet master going after us.
Oh God.
As far as you know.
Too soon.
Too soon, man. Too soon.
Way too soon.
Forge's arm turns into snow and falls off.
Revenge is the dinner best served. Ha! Cold.
Revenge.
So are you guys opting to take a short rest here, a long rest here? What's the plan?
Probably
Well,
a good idea for a long rest.
Long
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah, the tiny
Long
hut lasts
rest.
for 8 hours.
Okay.
And I got a short rest from the horse ride where I made my check, so like I can actually like burn I can burn a sorcery point, and I can actually make it 16 hours. So it just depends on how long we want to camp out.
Okay, so as Durden sets up the dome for everyone, and between Saria and Shu, a fire and some food gets going. Antia stays outside of the dome for the time being. She just kind of waves her hand, and the snow like forms up and then solidifies into a chair that she can sit in. Is there anything specific that anyone is doing while you have the time?
Shu puts all the plates together. The one she gives to Antia looks like she just piled everything on top of each other. Everyone else got nice plates, but Antia called her rude, in her opinion. So she just slopped everything together all in one spot.
What a presentation.
You know, didn't want to be rude.
Well, all right then.
While everyone is eating, Forge is gonna sit down and with his tinker's tools and just do basic maintenance on himself and on 99.
Okay. Yep. Easy enough to do. You don't have to roll for it or anything. It's maintenance. If there was actually something wrong that you were trying to fix, then it would be a
Nope.
roll. But maintenance is maintenance.
Just
We've
making
done
sure,
it 1,000 times.
just making sure that the body's still functional.
Oh, and Shu did not understand that Forge doesn't eat. He told her. She doesn't remember. She made him food.
He looks to the food and he picks it up, kind of sets it back down. Thank you, but I lack the internal organs to process this.
Don't worry, I got you.
I don't eat food.
That's sad.
I don't sleep either,
That's weird.
or breathe.
Huh?
Kobold's doing the thing where it's got like all the little like geometric signs and math and symbols
Yes.
coming and going like, what?
Yeah.
The Windows log off noise.
Yes, pretty much.
Yep.
It's like Durden will go, he's kind of like a golem, but he's not.
What's a golem?
Never seen a golem?
I don't know. What's a golem?
Alright. He's a giant size magic doll.
And how does he move? How do you move?
With my joints. Same way you move.
Augie pats Forge on the head. You're so much more than a doll.
I'm trying to explain for our kobold friend so she can understand. I know he's not a doll.
With my combat capabilities, would I not be an action figure?
I mean, I guess you got a kung fu grip, whatever.
Doll is an action figure.
Don't ask me to squeeze you by the legs.
Oh my.
I mean that that
Hold
last
my
monster
steering,
that
Joe.
last monster did try to turn him into a Stretch Armstrong. So
I mean, that's how the kung fu grip work. You lift the arm and you squeeze the legs, and it did the job.
All of this is going right over Shu's head. She still doesn't understand. But she'll kind of get up close to Forge and kind of looking at like an arm to try and find the joint.
and he lets her climb all over him and explore as he tries
If
to
he's
give
gonna
her
let her, she will.
give her as much information as to how he functions.
How interesting. Can't say I understand it, but it's interesting.
Oh, that's okay. I don't understand it either. I was made and I'm here.
So you don't eat anything?
No, I've never eaten or drank anything in my life.
That's sad.
Would you like to?
It is a
Wait.
curious notion. Kage seems to like it a lot. And he did allow me one time to feel emotion.
You want to try food? Shu make good food.
I'm
He
not
pulls out a bead from his pouch. Want to do it again?
maybe when we are in more safer circumstances.
Disappointed look on his face.
You said your friend once said it was sad you couldn't eat. So why don't we find her and then we'll go to a tavern and we'll make it so you can eat.
No,
With her.
no. I'm curious now. I'd love to see this, but this area is quite safe enough
Safe enough for what?
to do whatever you're gonna do.
He's not some circus performer for your entertainment. He
No,
has
this is purely academic.
really.
Well,
You
if
seem a little bit excited to see him.
if
eat.
you believe it
I've
is
never seen it
safe,
before.
you are an expert. Kage, if you wish.
You don't have to do it if you don't want to, Durden. Why do I keep calling you Durden?
I don't
everyone
know.
Dirty?
I don't know.
I'm not the grumpy
Someone's a little
boy.
self-centered.
I'm not the grumpy boy.
I think I'm just like I'm doing a what's it called, displacement.
Yeah,
Ah.
this is self-projection at its worst.
I mean, wouldn't it be best if he had experienced the first time with his friend that he's trying to go find?
But if he wants to do it on his own, that's fine. He doesn't need all of you forcing him to do it.
I'm not forcing anyone to do anything.
Did you notice how we all asked?
Did say he was curious to do it again himself. I'm just pointing that out. But this is delicious, by the way, Shu. Thank you.
He's just like, he's kind of just like sitting there staring at Kage.
What?
If you want to use your bead, you can.
Well, the question is if you want to.
I am curious to see if the same emotions are sparked inside.
All right, let's go outside.
He's falling with a plate of food for Forge.
Do you
Okay.
go outside with Kage?
Mm-hmm.
All right. He's going to stand about 15 feet away from you. He's going to say, just let it happen. And then he's going to throw the bead at your face.
Tink.
So, what is he turned into?
You're the one with the tables, good sir.
Oh shit, that was a table?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's randomized,
yeah.
bro.
When you catch the DM off guard.
So,
I'm just sitting back enjoying the moment. I have to do
in
stuff.
all honesty, it was very lucky that the first time it happened, Forge turned into a canine so that Kage could communicate with him in fox form. There was a
Yeah.
decent chance that wouldn't have happened.
Meantime,
remember
Perseus
this.
is curled up in a warm cloak, in the warm weather clothing, inside the tiny hut by the fire.
I Thankfully,
As he should be.
it's nice and toasty inside. So,
I was looking to see if I can use my my magical tinkering to create like little heat rocks, but I can't.
I mean, if you want to change
Poor
it so that the
lizard.
bag of morphing allows me to choose the form, that'd be great. But
The thing is, as a magic item, it doesn't technically exist, so you can't make an infusion for it. So that's kind of the sad thing about.
Yeah, because it's like
I mean,
that would be great, seeing as how you can add odors and stuff to like different stones and do different things, like warming or cooling rocks up would have been cool.
I mean, honestly, as a DM, like for an artificer, I would allow an artificer to infuse the.
Oh, it's not even an infusion. It's just magical tinkering.
I know, but I would let the artificer like infuse it, like infuse the effect of prestidigitation into like a temporary item.
Kage, did I put a CR cap on this, or is it just straight up polymorph?
you said target creature must succeed on a DC 18 Wisdom save or be polymorphed into a random beast for 1 hour.
Oh
So it's
God!
limited to beast.
It's like, what have I done?
And since
What have
and,
I done?
If you want to allow me to choose the form, I'll
It's-
gladly take that.
and since Forge is accepting the ability, he just instantly fails the save.
Yeah,
So,
sure does. This seems dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
You made
You're
it.
the one that did it.
I know. Roll a percentile for me, Forge.
sure. That's a 21.
Okay.
Does
Drag
your
me.
dice just get wider?
No, it's not going to be too bad. Oh, this is amazing. You're going to hate this, Shadow Fox.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Forge, in an instant, as soon as that bead strikes you, you feel yourself enveloped in magical energy, and all of you watch as his large metallic and wooden warforged form immediately shrinks down into a white hair.
Kage goes, nope, grabs the bead and throws it again.
Okay.
The
Yeah, she's over there trying to shove
this time the rabbit's gonna try to jump over the bead.
Okay.
I mean, deck save.
Yeah, I guess a deck save versus.
All right. Hold on.
What's the modifier for a bunny on dexterity?
So hold on, I
I
have to roll
imagine
it.
high.
If we're doing this, I have to roll an attack, right?
Well, it's a dex save, so
I think it's going to be a deck save versus 10 plus your dexterity modifier, Kage.
So 15 DC.
15 DC, and I can't look at this stat block. That is +3 to your dexterity, rabbit.
that's an 8.
Okay, so the bead strikes you, and roll that percentile for me again.
Do I get the wisdom save to try to fight it?
You sure? Your wisdom as a rabbit is
Does it go off my wisdom or the rabbit's wisdom?
You're polymorph, so it's the rabbits.
Yeah.
I'm just putting this out there. True science fact. Rabbits are specifically known to have to re-eat the things they expel because they don't digest things very well.
Yeah,
He learns a lot about his enemies.
I rolled a 13 on the die, so
you have no wisdom modifier. So.
Funny enough, I have no wisdom modifier on my own, so
that is a failure, so give me that percentile.
No rabbit. No rabbit.
no whammy.
No wabbit.
76.
76.
Suddenly a different type of rabbit.
It's a
Were-rabbit.
jackrabbit.
Dire were-rabbit.
It's the rabbit from Monty Python.
Oh god.
That's what I was gonna put on his tombstone if he ever got killed by a rabbit.
Okay.
You think I'm joking?
So this bead strikes this rabbit right in the lucky rabbit foot, and again you see that magical energy envelop the form as it shifts from a white hair into a giant frog.
That's not as good.
She was gonna look down at the plate of food, not sure if the frog can eat it.
Now, this is polymorph.
Yes.
So the frog doesn't. How big is this frog, by the way?
It is a medium beast.
Why?
So it's a giant frog.
Okay. And since he's technically a frog, he would be thinking like a frog, correct?
Yeah, you have an intelligence score of 2.
Okay. Frog's kind of sitting there for a moment, looking around. And it sees Shu, and it just shoots its tongue out at her.
She's still in the bubble, right?
No, she
No, she
came out
followed
to
you guys
follow.
out.
Oh yeah, you guys are out.
Okay. Roll an attack, I guess.
Went south real
It's
quick.
a D20 plus 3.
Natural 20 for 23.
Does a 23
that
hit you,
hits.
Shu? It hits,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh no.
So, Shu, you take 1d6 plus 1 piercing damage.
So 4.
So you take 4 damage. You are grappled. You are restrained. And now, Forge Frog, if you would like, you
Yeah.
can attempt to swallow.
Just pull her back.
Okay?
Can I do a reaction and try to like grab Shu?
Are you outside the bubble too?
She did say she was curious and she was gonna go look out, so she's not like right next to you guys, but within running distance.
You're still in
Oh,
dire
this-
wolf form, though, aren't you?
No, I said I dropped it
Oh, you
so I
went back.
could make the bonfire and everything and eat food.
Everyone just hear Kage go, "Oh, it went bad."
So Durden's like sitting down, inside the tiny hut, and he sees the nonsense happening outside with Forge eating Shu and everyone running around like fucking chickens with their head cut off, trying to figure out how do we save the kobold from the fucking hungry frog
Very
robot.
simple. You let the kobold punch the frog and try and do stunning strike.
So basically, like when Durden sees the frog tongue hit Shu, he's gonna cast Dispel Magic on Forge to dispel the polymorph.
Yeah, I had that, but this is a lot more comedic.
Can't magic
that's-
not
yeah.
go through the bubble?
Yeah, magic
But
can't go
that's-
through the bubble.
Are you sure?
And
Yeah,
you can't
magic
exit the
cannot-
bubble.
Yeah.
Yep.
Magic cannot
We
penetrate
learned
the
this
bubble.
many, many difficult times throughout No Way Out.
Well, no, it makes it opaque.
No, the
from-
magic
from
cannot
from the
pass through.
outside.
No, magic cannot pass
cannot
through.
pass through the bubble.
Yeah,
You can't shoot magic from the inside out.
you have to
would-
walk out of the bubble.
At the very least, you have to put your hand outside the bubble.
But I thought the caster can't exit
So-
the bubble at all.
Spells
I
and other
can't-
No, you can
magical
exit.
spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it.
Okay, so then he's just gonna step to the edge of it, so he doesn't leave the radius of it, and he's just gonna Dispel Magic the frog.
Okay, so when you do that dispel magic, I do need you to roll. I assume it's base level dispel.
Yeah, I don't have a 4th level spell slot.
So you need to roll a d20 plus your spellcasting modifier.
Okay, that is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Yeah, DC was 14.
So does he go back to being the rabbit because that was never dispelled?
He goes back to being Forge, but by the time Durden is able to get partially out of the dome in order to cast Dispel Magic, Forge has already begun to retract his tongue with Shu attached to it.
Oh no.
So the Dispel Magic goes off and the tongue disappears, but the momentum of Shu being pulled continues.
Yep.
And they just go
Yep.
crashing into Forge, and they both fall backwards onto the snow.
I'm here for it.
Love it.
And Durden just looks at the nonsense and he just sighs. And if for anyone who understands Celestial, Durden just, as he's turning around and heading back into the tent, like, this is why you sent me on this, really?
So I rolled for this. So as he's laying there next to Shu, or like with like Shu crashing on top of him or anything, Forge starts to laugh.
Shu's not food.
Are you okay?
I I think so.
Are you still part frog? I thought you weren't supposed to feel anything.
I don't know what it is.
I think it's called having fun.
Durden cast Dispel Magic on Forge again.
Cast it, it goes off. You don't feel like anything was dispelled.
I guess I feel happy.
Not to be eating Shu?
I guess.
Okay,
I
I'll
was
take it.
curious of how you tasted when I was a frog.
See if Shu understands enough to know that the frog thoughts were not his thoughts. Probably not.
No dice.
No. No. Why do you want to eat Shu?
The
Shu's
frog,
not tasty.
the frog wanted to eat you.
To be
Frog
fair,
was Forge.
to be fair, I never thought about it beforehand, but the moment I turned into a frog, you were the most tasty looking thing around me.
How about now?
I don't eat.
Okay. She's okay.
You don't really laugh either, yet here you are laughing. Maybe you can eat.
That's alarming, but
Isn't
It's
that
not alarming, Forge. It's a good thing. You're happy.
I'm confused. Very confused.
That's okay. We can work on that.
That is a new feeling. She'll like slap Forge on the back. You'll get used to it.
She's gonna go try and pick up her discarded food out of the snow.
Did I? I got my emotions from being turned into a frog.
Maybe?
That's pretty funny.
I've never seen a frog laugh before.
Snowdrop will definitely enjoy this.
Like
And
when Durden says that, like Forge says that, Durden's mood just gets really sour. He goes right back into the tiny hut.
Well, you'll have to laugh for her then.
Still sad I can't eat. Oh god,
Maybe
I'm
one-
sad.
We'll try. Wait, what?
Well, maybe not sad, but depressed?
Disappointed?
Disappointed?
Disappointed. It never really occurred to me how curious I was about how food actually tasted.
We can
This
try
is so
again.
much progress.
Everyone seems to enjoy food. Maybe there is a way I can experience it.
Yeah, we'll keep trying. Don't worry.
We can try again.
I don't have any more tonight, but we can keep trying.
Okay, but maybe next time not so close to Shu, just in case I turn into something else that wants to eat her.
She will be
Okay,
prepared
that's
this time.
perfect.
She will be prepared this time.
Well, that was
Very-
all quite exciting.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it's pretty entertaining.
She's gonna proceed to eat the food that fell in the snow.
See,
not
it's
going to waste.
always worth doing the experiment.
You just have to
I don't
set
like
it
you
more.
calling him an experiment.
Oh no, she's
Yes.
right.
No.
It was worth it.
He
No,
isn't
that's
the
beside the point.
experiment. He partook in the experiment.
I don't understand the difference.
I've been called much worse. Or stop.
Doesn't make it okay.
Well, I wouldn't
Or-
ever speak in a derogatory way. I understand there's a soul in there. He is a person.
Okay.
I'm
So
not
we're-
heartless. Just impatient.
She was that close to getting another shoe prank.
I am concerned now.
What about?
Now that I have emotions, maybe my decisions are not going to be based on logic anymore.
Your decisions can still be based on logic. They'll just be balanced with emotion as well.
I will have to be careful.
Welcome to the feeling world, buddy.
It's both exciting and scary.
Durden screams out, emotions are overrated.
Sounds like someone needs a hug.
Don't.
Maybe you should throw a
Antia-
bead at him. Maybe
I'm
that
kidding.
will help.
Antia, is there a way to, like, since he doesn't want emotion and he does, can we, like,
What, switch their bodies?
yeah.
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
Okay.
I would see that.
Put something
It was
together?
just a thought.
No, let's.
Don't. I
How-
would react very angrily and.
I would as well. Durden
Yes,
is
yes,
Durden,
yes, of
and
course.
I am myself.
You would have to be a willing participant in the, what was that, Antia?
Experiment.
Yes.
That's not an experiment I want any part of.
Okay, well then we'll just not do it.
It's a good thought, though.
So if you want an experiment, how about trying to find a way to allow me to eat and taste?
Work on it.
I guess
And
that would
taste.
require me having some form of working digestive system.
Yes, and a tongue. You would have to get used to the feeling of a tongue.
He
in
kind
your
of like
mouth.
He doesn't have a
he
tongue.
put his hands in his mouth. I've never even thought of that. How do I speak? How do I form syllables with no tongue?
Voice is probably being manifested magically by the construction of your body. You think the words, and your body reacts to project them.
Durden is right. Warforged are really an arcane marvel.
He kind of just like starts staring at his hand.
There he is, just sitting over here going like, magic, motherfucker.
It's magic. I ain't got to explain shit.
Yeah. It's just like, magic is magic. It's crazy shit.
It's crazy.
Sarah, you're outside the dome, right?
I am, yeah.
Are you just kind of standing around with everyone?
Yeah.
You feel a pawing at your leg.
I look down.
And you see a little white furred wolf pup that is there pawing at you, just kind of sitting on the ground. And it takes a moment, but you do recognize it after kind of looking at it. And you know that this pup is Antia's familiar.
Well, hey there, long time no see, little guy. What are you
And-
doing?
It kind of stands up on its hind legs and now paws at your leg with its front paws, clearly wanting to be picked up.
Yeah, I pick it up and I just start petting him.
And you know that this familiar's name is Lumen. I thought an extra set of eyes wouldn't hurt.
No, that's a good idea. This is a good idea, huh, Lumen? I just scratched that spot right behind the ear. It's like, yeah.
Just kind of tilts its head back, eyes closed. It's a very happy pup.
Yeah, cool.
Third is gonna look at Antia and go, "You named your familiar Lumen?"
I didn't, no. He named himself.
Excuse me.
Well, you spend enough time with a familiar and you get to know the spirit that resides in it.
With Lumen is a cute name.
Can Durden make an Arcana check on that?
Yeah.
$16.
16. You haven't heard of just your, feels weird saying typical wizard, but you haven't heard of just your run-of-the-mill caster and familiar owner having this sort of bond with a familiar before, but you have heard of creatures that have some sort of connection to the Feywild being able to develop that type of bond with a familiar. It's possible for anyone to do it, but it's a lot easier for a Fey creature to do it.
Durden is going to ritualistically cast Speak with Animal.
Okay.
And then he takes out his tome and he turns to a page that manifests, and he just starts writing down notes, and he basically is going to ask his familiar, "Do you have a name?"
Okay. Roll a d20 for me, just a straight d20.
12.
12. When you ask that question, you feel through your bond with the familiar that it understands what you're asking it, and it wants to respond vocally, but currently isn't able to for some reason. You feel it trying. You feel like if you practice this enough times, if you put enough effort into it, perhaps eventually you would be able to create that bond with the familiar.
He starts making notes, and then he is going to ask, God, what's her name? He's gonna ask his patron, what are the odds of my familiar changing into something else? And that's in Celestial. Like, he knows he might not get an answer, but he just he's very curious about this particular predicament because he's never seen anyone who had a familiar that had autonomy. So now he's curious because all of his studies, unless you have a specialized familiar like an imp or a pseudo dragon or something like that, your familiar is not supposed to have autonomy.
Yeah. So you ask this question of your patron, and you don't immediately get a response or anything, but that question just kind of sits in the back of your mind as you're going through your book and putting down your notes. And it keeps coming to the forefront of your mind until eventually you realize that every time you think of that question, you feel a warmth inside of you. Like if your patron could respond, perhaps this warmth is them responding in a positive way.
he makes a note on it. Now he's interested in seeing if he can give his familiar autonomy, if it's something that can be done.
Certainly get the feeling like it's not an impossibility.
That's now something that he's gonna actively be working on, trying to see if he can accomplish.
Okay. So, is anyone doing anything more while you still have a bit of time, or is it long rest time?
Oh, long rest time.
Cease is already there.
Okay. So is anyone taking any watches, or are you relying on the safety of the dome to protect you as all of you sleep? Well,
Forge,
all but one of you sleep.
Yeah, Forge will be up all night, so.
Saria will technically be up for half the night, but I'll take one of the watches for the second half when she decides to be done with her elven cat nap.
Same thing for Durden, since he doesn't technically require, since
Elves, man.
well,
Right.
he's technically a half elf.
So we'll have Forge on first, Saria on second, Durden on third. Anyone taking fourth?
I'll take fourth.
Okay.
But I'm also gonna reach into my bag and drink a particular potion and be in fox form and play with the wolf pup familiar all night. Other than my
Okay. Yep, fair enough. The pup is happy to play, as all puppies are. Unless they're, like, knocked out cold from playing too much. So, as everyone goes into their various sleep, trance, or fox forms, go ahead and give us that first watch roll, Forge. Staying within the dome, this will just be a perception check.
Alrighty. Jesus. Well, that's gonna be a perception of 9.
Oh.
Okay.
My dice hate me tonight. I'm getting great rolls when it doesn't matter.
It's a good thing that you have the dome, though, because a 9 would be really bad otherwise. Not that it's not.
I think he's just too distracted by all the new like feelings just surging through him.
Yeah, you're sitting there as everyone around you is bedding down for the night. And for the first 10, 15 minutes or so, you're doing your watch, you're staying alert, but you feel your mind beginning to drift back to those emotions, that feeling as the frog and very briefly as the bunny rabbit. And the taste of Shu, the desire to eat, and you're thinking about the food that you saw in Shu's bag and eventually all over the snow, and it's just so intriguing and so entrapping in your mind that before you know it, a couple hours have passed, and when you kind of snap to again, it's pitch black out. The sun has long since set. Your watch has concluded. You've gone a little bit beyond your watch, and you feel something for having not paid attention during your duty. You feel something. It doesn't feel great, but you're new to emotions, so you don't really know what that feeling is.
It's called guilt.
Shame.
Kind of a shame. Maybe guilt. Go guilt.
Wow.
Gonna sit there kind of like rocking to himself, looking around. Starting to think that maybe he should just go ahead and take the second watch too.
You can choose not to wake up Sarah if you don't want to.
Yeah, he feels bad for not doing the first one, so he's just going to keep going on.
Okay. Give me another perception roll.
That's better. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Okay. You continue to remind yourself throughout the duration of this second watch that you should really be paying attention. You feel your mind drift a little bit, and no, I'm here to do watch. I'm here to keep them safe. Oh, but those emotions, no, I'm here to watch.
He's now becoming a true 3-year-old.
Yeah. You do stay attentive for the duration of this watch, and by the end of it, you feel something contrary to what you felt at the end of your first watch. At the end of your first one, you felt something that wasn't pleasant feeling, wasn't nice, because you shirked your duties. But now, this time, you've made sure to do exactly what you had said to your friends that you would do, and it feels good to have done that.
Feels nice.
At the end of it, I was going to say, do you choose to wake Sari up? But I guess she just wakes up. She only has to sleep for 4
Wake
hours.
up, I'm just
Same
like,
with Dirty
nah.
as well. However, Durden.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Dag.
Please don't make me go into Eugene's head again.
The same dark vignette of writhing tendrils frames your vision. And as blurred darkness clears, you find yourself once again occupying a body that isn't yours. Around your periphery appears to be a homestead of some kind. A flickering fireplace sits within the wall across from you, and a little girl plays with a wooden toy on a large bearskin rug nearby.
Oh God, don't kill the little girl, Eugene.
Your vision is fixed downwards on an open book laying in your lap. You speak, read, and write Celestial, right?
Yes.
Okay. Though it's hard to focus your vision enough to read the passages word for word, you can piece enough of it together to understand that it talks of a great global war between two cataclysmic factions. The way that this book is written, it seems like it's describing current events rather than something from the past. You just start to read a paragraph that describes something being shackled away when you hear a voice of a woman off to your right. And your vision moves from the book to the direction of the voice. You don't see her, but you do hear her call out, "It's bedtime, sweetie. Daddy will tuck you in." And the book on your lap closes as you rise from your seat. Curiously, you see your hand, Eugene's hand, wave across the book, and it disapparates in a wisp of black smoke. "Come on, pumpkin, I'll read you a story." As the little girl takes Eugene's hand, you find yourself bolting upright once again, gasping for breath, eyes wide and watering. And Sarah, you see the moment that Durden wakes up in this state. But we're going to stop right there for today.
Oh God, are you gonna make us kill a dad?
I'm not making you do anything.
He's an ass. I'm like, I was terrified he was gonna kill that poor little kid. It's like, no, don't kill her.
Watch it, Snowdrop brainwashed.
Far too young to be Snowdrop.
I think he would have recognized the brainwashed Snowdrop.
Little do we know that Snowdrop is like his long lost child that got sucked into the Feywild at some point.
Well, it's funny you say that.
So thank you everyone for tuning in to part 2 of Sonata 3. We're getting to the good parts. We really are.
Yeah.
We've got some exciting things coming up. Thankfully, you guys rolled pretty well in part 1 on teleportation, so you didn't end up too far away from your destination. So we have more time for the good stuff. Aside from this show, we do have several others on this channel. On Mondays, we have our Mass Effect 5e campaign run by the lovely Zorro. And on Tuesdays, temporarily, we have Chimera Collective run by Kiara Phoenix. And that is a 3-part series, I believe.
Yes.
And this Tuesday is part 2. Part 2.
Yep.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Do tune into that. It's a really fun setting that Kiara has created. It's kind of got these like steampunky kind of extraordinary gentleman type vibes to it, and it's fantastic.
Very RP and story heavy, which is great.
Yeah, it's a lot of theater of the mind is what she likes using. So very little maps. It's more visual for us, but it's all theater of the mind.
Yeah. And that is filling in the slot while we're taking a brief break from Destiny Forged, which will be returning on December 7th with episode 1 of campaign 3. And we have, of course, our alternating Saturday shows every week. We just had Withered Wastes today, where we tried to reconcile our differences, but we kept getting attacked by things.
All the
next
things.
It's
Saturday.
Like, it's group therapy with swords.
Yeah. Next Saturday is, of course, the next installment of Wayward Wanderers. And tomorrow, actually, we have another episode of this show, Sonata. Episode 3 or part 3 of Sonata 3 will be happening tomorrow. And then the final part will be this coming Wednesday. We also have our lore talk show, Behold Lore, which takes place the first Saturday of every month. So do tune into that. It is also available in podcast format, which you can find by going to beholdrp.com. So thank you again for everyone that tuned in, for all the raids that happened today. And thank you to the players for allowing me to drag you into this story. I'm having a great time with it, and it just keeps getting better.
Love it.
You know how we could make it better.
Nope.
Gonna keep pushing that button until he's satisfied.
You all wake up and Kage's gone.
Oh no!
What? Oh no!
Man,
I never
Kage's
saw
gone.
this
Kidnapped by
coming.
some random Fey lady again? Okay.
Yeah.
Kage's gone. Forge's arm turned to snow. Jeez.
You bring it upon yourselves.
A lot of
If
vengeance
Kage's
happening
Just
here.
gone,
just a giant frog just ran off with Shu.
if Kage's gone, my my backup character is going to be Snowdrop's sister.
Gumdrop.
I'll allow it.
The goat or the
Yes.
Snowdrop and raindrop.
The goat.
Maybe
Has to be the
both.
goat's sister.
I'll allow it, but you have to either be exactly like Snowdrop or the complete opposite of Snowdrop.
I mean, those would be the two options, right?
It's Shadow. He's probably
There's
gonna
no
be the
in
opposite.
between.
Too funny.
But that will do it for us here today. Thank you again to everyone, and we will see you again tomorrow, I guess. I've got some planning to do.